I'd like to show you something.
The pace when I'm running, I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Here you go. Hola. How are you all doing? Nice to see you all here. Toxic Tuesday, episode 1, 2, and an 8. 21 8 or 1, 2, and an 8. You're 2 minutes late, dude. Wrong movie. And let's get going here. So, Toxic Tuesday, White Lightning. Yes, we're going to deep cut this thing. Like, really deep cut here with this one. And you know what? You gotta take chances on shows like that. You gotta definitely be, we can't just do all the safest stuff. We want to do that stuff because it's notable, it's culturally historical, but you also gotta go for the deep cuts. I mean, that's why we went for Raw Deal Schwartzy. That's why you go for stuff like that. But tonight we're going for a Burt Reynolds deep cut. So before we do, we're just gonna have a bit of a smaller panel because it's a small panel. Probably end up being a shorter show. But that's fine. It means we can just have a nice, quick, to-the-point show time, probably right under 2 hours. So it's going to be good. But what's going on? Mars Monkey Max, Emperor's NM, Putin's Cat, Davida Duckworth, Benoit JDC. We know who you are, JDC. D-Bud Martin, Osmora 199. Hello, Shadow Chaser. Hello. Nice to see you all here. So yeah, part 2. Burt Reynolds month. Last week we did the classic The Longest Yard. Now tonight we go with a little White Lightning. I'm excited because for me, this is my very first time ever seeing this. Whereas I've seen The Longest Yard. I've seen stuff like Smokey in the Bed. I've not seen this one. This is going to be a very normie-based perspective here on this one. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Frank Hammett? Nice to see you here, sir. Thank you for dropping on in. All right. We'll bring in one of our other two gentlemen tonight. We'll start off with the red shirt, our red shirt. How's it going? Just another red shirt.
It's going great. And this is also my first time having watched this movie. I actually have seen the sequel to this.
Gator. Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out which one came first on IMDb today. And I went, oh, White Lightning's the first one and Gator's the sequel. So I was like, oh, cool. I thought Gator was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's better. So we'll get into that. This is definitely oh man. This movie sets the tone right from the beginning. You understand the stakes. This is like Walking Tall, where it's like, yeah, you screw this up, they're going to mess you up. You are not going to be found. You're just going to disappear into the back of nowhere. Some good old boys are going to take you away in a pickup truck, and they're never going to find you. And that's pretty much the way this movie starts off. And it doesn't let up. And the thing I like about Reynolds in this movie is he's not really trying to be funny. He can't help but be a wise ass occasionally, but this is a very serious role for him to play.
Yes.
Yeah. So this and Deliverance to me are two of his badass roles.
Yeah, I'm glad we did do this one. If anything, it's more fitting under the Toxic brand, if you will. So it's definitely one that needed to be touched. And there's definitely some lines that are sputtered here that are beyond cancelable. They're not like a million lines a minute, but where they are, oh boy, there's some stuff here. It's great. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Vulcan? And yes, we'll probably for part 2 of, because there will be a part 2 of Burt Reynolds. We'll probably do stuff like Gator, the whorehouse, stuff like that. So yes, we'll definitely cover those down the line. But we got another gentleman in back who has definitely got his visuals. Probably gonna have the arsenal loaded up real soon. How you doing, Mark D?
Doing great. Yeah, and I can't remember. I probably have seen this movie before. Just I don't really remember it. So either I'm getting too damn old, or it's one of those. If you're watching back in the day when you'd watch Saturday afternoon movies or at night. Yeah, but this is classic Burt Reynolds, and it kind of tees up Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, it's this is before. Yeah, this is 72, so it's before Smokey. And a lot of movies copied it. I mean, watching this, I got a lot of Dukes of Hazzard vibes.
Okay,
you guys got that?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I could see where you got that a little bit. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, it's a much more. It's obviously not a. It's not as lighthearted and it's much more serious. But there's a lot of good comedy in this movie too. But
their vibe is a big one.
Their vibe,
Southern vibe is a very, very urban America too. Very urban America. So yeah, I could definitely see at least some aspects of where you came to that conclusion, Mark. I can definitely see that.
Not exactly, but it's got that. It's in that universe, right? Set in the South, running Moonshine, right? And and hailed everyone in the chat. So looking forward to having. Yeah, we got a small panel, but a huge in some other ways panel, right? Yeah.
So this will be nice. It'll be a nice, quick, to the point show. We're gonna get in with Reynolds, and we're gonna get. Can we also mention, guys, we can actually say we're gonna go 2 straight weeks without the Burt Reynolds stash on Burt Reynolds month. What are the freaking odds of that? I swear that was not intentional. Like, that just happened, man. Like, there was no plan for, okay, we gotta be different, and had be like, oh, hold up, we can just go without the stash before we see the stash. No, it just lined up like that, because when we got together to decide some of these Burt Reynolds movie for Burt Reynolds month, we just kind of talked about, hey, we'll do this movie, we'll do that movie, and voila, what 2 of them straight ended up just being movies without the freaking stash. That's just nuts, man.
Yeah.
So while you're getting the slideshow ready, I'm going to show off.
Yeah.
I'm going to show off some cool posters throughout the night as we go along. I figure I'll highlight one of these great ones here, because there's a lot of killer posters for this movie, and it was definitely one of those ones where I was just like, man, this is definitely worth highlighting. And because, well, we have a bit of small panel, we can touch on these little things that we'll get to touch on often, because, to be fair, we should. Dude, come on, look at that. Now that's a work of Burt Reynolds.
Is that toxic or what?
Right, dude, right? You see the cop car, you see his car, you see him running the cop car, you see him shirtless, you see the gun in hand. It'll give you the jolt of your life. I was like, dude, that sounds like almost like a soda ad. I thought that was great in terms of that. And go ahead.
Can you imagine? Because this movie was originally slated to be Steven Spielberg's first theatrical feature. He spent over 2 months in pre-production, decided he didn't want to do this film. He went on to do Sugarland Express. I can't imagine. I can't imagine, because I've seen a couple of his early movies. I can imagine Steven Spielberg doing this, but it would have been different.
Shout out to Tom Connors. Here. He's right here. And by the way, folks, he's there because he wasn't able to catch it, but he does. I thought about that too. He very much so looks like not just Charles Bronson, but he looks like early Death Wish 1 era Paul Kersey. Yeah, he looks like Death Wish 1 era Paul Kersey. He just needed a voice like this, except he sounds like Burt Reynolds instead, as he should, because he's Burt Reynolds. But yes, I got that voice when I looked at the poster. So that's what I got out of that. So Yeah, that's a good logo font, Mark. Look at yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's a good choice for the font there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll show those off. We got two more. We'll
Yeah.
show them off throughout the night as we go along with
Yeah,
the
add a couple more too
posters.
here. Why not? Yeah.
Oh, you got even more on top of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just add them now, yeah, because I have them. I think we got room because I deleted videos from last week. So, but those are some of the still, those are some of the backgrounds. Yep. So of course you got the famous, there's Dukes of Hazards right there. Of course.
Oh, dude, what a memorable shot! Like this is
Right?
something
Oh,
I
yeah.
could. Like I'm just like, damn! Talk about what a setup. This is a great rivalry too between the Gator and the Sheriff O'Connor's. Dude, this is like yeah, this is over freaking Moonshine. Like I was like, okay, I don't know how hardcore league. I don't know the policies of Moonshine. I never really looked into it. I think I've drank
It's
it a few
highly
times in my
illegal.
life.
There's actually an episode in American history called the Whiskey Rebellion that the army was sent in to put
Yeah.
down. So when it comes to Moonshine, the government really doesn't like you not paying taxes, and moonshining is a huge business that pays no taxes.
Oh man,
Yeah.
And that's what they go after them for, is you got to pay me, you got to pay the man.
Show me the
wow, damn the freaking man back then, all the way up until now. Seriously, no, what? And then these three here, I was like, was this like the beginning of a three-way that didn't become three-way? That if it came out today, they would say, I gotta ship these three because it can't just be one and the other. But then I realized later on, oh no, Roy's just some guy who doesn't have it together, but he acts like he has out here. Because at first I was kind of like, is this trying to set up a three-way angle? Until I further realized, no. I'm seeing something that's not there. This is
Oh,
encouraging.
yeah, well, why is she not sitting in the back seat, right? She just squeeze in the middle of that, right? It's a man witch going on there.
Oh, man.
Oh, she is trying to cause trouble.
Yeah.
She very much is.
Oh, she is definitely some ugly intentions, that's for sure. And it shows. He actually does look badass without the session. I gotta give him credit that even though he's one of those guys who's become synonymous with the mustache and it's definitely a definitive look, but in terms of like full on badassery, like the way like he holds the gun, and he's got Kevin, it's gonna sound, he's got that perfect jawline for like the action hero star. Like you wouldn't think about it because like you focus on the stash, but he's got that perfect jaw. He reeks of action hero in these shots and poses. And the name's cool, Gator McCluskey. That's a great action hero name.
Yeah, what a name, right?
Name.
Yeah, this is actually far enough back with the other movie Deliverance, where critics were starting to talk about Burt Reynolds as the next the guy who was in The Godfather as the Godfather, and I just lost the actor's name here. Who was that? With the Kleenex in his cheeks. Marlon Brando.
Oh, Brando, yeah.
Marlon Brando, was a young man in the 50s. In the 70s, early 70s,
right,
they were starting to talk about, this is the next Marlon Brando. And it didn't last. His movie career didn't go that way. But he had, I mean, because it's by the 70s. This was actually called by one comment in the trivia, the first of his hick flicks that made him a star. Hick flicks. And I mean, yes, I mean, I know what they're talking about, but I also know why the critics would refer to it, or critic would refer to it that way. He was considered to be a really good candidate for a very serious dramatic actor up until about certainly the movie after this. I think Gator was the one that they just wrote him off because it's not as good a movie as this.
had never seen Gator. I definitely didn't know that I was gonna, but now I'm actually kind of intrigued. I am actually kind of like intrigued. But you did say I saw the vastly superior movie, and this was at a time too where sequels, when they did come out, even though they weren't as frequent as like what you see now, they weren't usually a movie that you really held up with the original. Nowadays, sequels do, for all the crap we do get sequels now, more than do tend to hold up a bit better compared to first movies. But
Yeah.
usually when sequels came out, often then a whole lot more of them were not good. It was kind of like a why did they make this type of thing?
Well, I mean,
They should just
it's
left
not.
it alone.
Yeah, Gator's not that bad. In fact, Gator is interesting if you're a fan of the Burt Reynolds movies from the 70s, like Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh
Is that
yeah.
Jerry
Oh really?
Reed?
Okay.
Jerry Reed, who was his partner in Smokey and the Bandit, plays
Okay.
the villain in Gator, and he is a truly horrible character.
Really?
Oh,
see,
yeah.
now you actually want me to see it that much more.
Yeah,
now.
no, I will tell you,
You're
it's
selling
worth
me on
watching.
it. You're
It's
selling
worth
me
fo-
on
it's
it.
it's worth watching as a sequel to this. Because he gets sucked into the same thing by the feds again. You got to go do this, or hey, guess what? We can put you
Go back
away
to
back.
prison.
We can put you back in prison. And he's like, "Oh shit!" So, no, it's. I think this is a better movie, but that one's fascinating if you're a fan of the movies of the '70s because it's the only time I've ever seen Jerry Reed play a true horrible character. And I won't give any of it away. Watch it. You will not believe what a scumbag Jerry Reed plays in that movie.
Oh, you sold me. I'm now damn
right.
interested. This is a great way to show off how ruthless Beatty is, even though there's a public
Yes.
perception that he's this good guy. It shows you how good he was at covering up his dirty actions because you see like, whoa, hold up, this movie just started, and you just see two dudes drowning to the death.
It doesn't waste any time getting started.
Dude,
No.
yeah, it went for the kill. Literally gone for a kill. I'm like, bro, damn. And Charles Bernstein had some interesting choices with the soundtrack because there's some times where it sounds very obviously not just of at times, but there's parts I'm not sure if you guys are here because it's a little bit more subtle in the mix of the movie, but there's parts where it's really dark sounding, and there's parts where it's like it's of course the super 70s super upbeatness, and I was just like, wow, he makes the flow of this work really well within the soundtrack. I really liked what he did with the music on this movie, and there's times where it's just like it kind of feels like a quiet movie because there's times it's not there. Whereas movies nowadays it kind of like happen almost every few minutes. This movie sometimes go quite a bit of minutes with that, but when it's there, and if you're listening closely, it's there. It's nice though.
Yep. And this scene, I mean, this is brutal. I mean, talk about, and you're like, what's going on here? And then you see the sheriff's badge, right? So at first I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's a drug deal gone bad, or
so I thought it
mafia.
was.
Yeah, it's the mafia taking these guys out, and then of course then you learn what the deal is in the relation to Gators. It's Gators' younger brother, who's actually the good kid. He's the one that's gone to college and made good. There's a nice line later on where, towards the end where Bert is reflecting on that. And and here you think he's just at work, right? And then you figure out he's in prison, right? But I thought he was in a just a mechanic in the garage there. And it's just a boom, the movie gets going. And he's a big sex symbol at the time too, don't forget. So that plays into
and
some of the roles later.
Without the stash. And this is like the ultimate manslayer. When you look at it, I was like, he's working at a place with his shirt off, engine is up, and he's doing car work. I was like, you would not be allowed to work in any environment like that today involving an engine.
Did you see that?
You'd have to have safety glasses, and you'd have to be clothed fully top to bottom.
Well, did you see Sydney Sweeney working on her cars? I mean, tell me she didn't move up in everyone's esteem. Did you see that video?
Oh yeah,
Sydney Sweeney,
she gained brownie points with that one. I want to call out Mars Monkey Max's comment. I always thought it showed how dynamic and great Ned Beatty was as an actor. He could do anything, and considering that the previous movie he'd made with Burt Reynolds was he had to squeal like a pig. This was a very different role for him. And
Yeah.
you know right off the bat, Ned Beatty is absolutely willing to do anything to protect his turf and what he's got going. You know, he's just an intolerant son of a bitch.
He's slick.
And
He's
Yeah.
very slick. And man, does Ned Beatty
politician.
make me hate him. But he's good
Oh,
at
yeah.
it. He's good. He's the villain you love to hate. He's one of those.
Yes.
He makes you love that you hate him because he's sort of damn this guy. He's
Yeah, and
one
then
of
this-
those guys.
And
Yep.
this opening, this is a brilliant shot here too. Look at the just the way, the framing, and then the
They all
bokeh
say.
in the shot. Yep. But yeah, so if you go back, I'll go back 2 slides, but just then that's when you realize he's in prison, right?
Yeah.
But it's almost like he
Bars.
owns the show there. Yeah, like I guess he's one of the the drivers and the mechanics there. So, but just the horrible sheriff there. God, you're right, Ned Beatty. And I guess I was reading, they said Reynolds had to fight to get Beatty in this movie, or to be cast in the role. But
I think Larry's correcting us, saying it's Ned Beatty. Well, I did not know
Beatty.
that, Larry, but I stand corrected. So, and I think
Yeah.
that sounds well on the panel. We all stand corrected on it. I did not know, and I'll admit when I'm wrong on things. So, all right, but carry
Yeah.
on, Mark. Sorry. I
yeah,
thought that was
the
definitely
movie has the
relevant.
phrase "shaky pudding." Yeah, I gotta
Oh
quote
yeah,
that.
shaky pudding. Yeah.
I'm like, what's the pudding? Yeah, what's for dinner? Shaky pudding. Yeah. So there's Empress and I promote topless engine rebuilds. Yeah, but there's I mean, right away you get off to a lot of toxicity in
Yep.
this movie with oh, sorry for having that screen up there. Yeah, let me kill this so it doesn't show up again. But yeah, it's and that's the worst kind of thing that can pop up. This film has been modified to fit your TV screen. It's like, no, it's pan and scan. If Tom is still
No, if
watching
you had
those.
that today, it'd say this movie's been modified for modern audiences.
Right.
That's what would be the disclaimer nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg would come on and do a 5-minute monologue on why you shouldn't like this.
Yeah.
I think my first memory, since we're covering a movie that has involved moonshine, I think I had my first time I ever had moonshine. I was 19 or 20, I think. And I
Yeah.
remember actually liking the taste of it.
Well, that's trouble in River City.
And I remember thinking,
Yes.
oh, hey, this is good. I was in a town.
It's not supposed to taste good, is it?
Well, I liked it. I do know a lot of people don't like it. Now, there are people out in Chicago who do like Malort, and Malort is not supposed to taste good. I'll put it that way. For all those who are in the chat, there's this thing called Malort. It's a Chicago thing. You're not supposed to like it, but there are those human beings that do like that. One of them being my guy, Benoit Juggalo Deathcock. He really likes that stuff in the chat, which I don't get and I will never understand. But anyways,
Like
I actually
Rumplemints.
enjoyed it.
When I met my wife, first time at the bar with her, she made me do shots of Rumplemints. So it's not happy with that either.
That's easy. Rumplemints.
That goes
in
is
hot chocolate.
Easy.
It tastes gross. So
It's just
not that I couldn't
peppermint.
handle it. It's just it tastes gross.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Try Uzo sometime. Yeah.
No, there is a heavier version of Rumplemints. Granted, the heavy version is still nothing compared to liquor, like general liquor, but it definitely is better. That's for sure.
Well, the night ended well, so all was good. But I just don't
There you
like
go.
Clearly, because you're still with it to this day.
Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
35 years later. Yeah. So
Oh.
I'm in trouble if she's listening, but I don't think she. Yeah, that was all good. What I said. That was all good.
Do you
What was I
have
saying?
a moonshine experience as we're going along with this red shirt?
I have had it in Texas on a business trip, and I am a fan of bourbon and scotch, but aged in barrels. And the thing about White Lightning is that it's a lot like white tequila before they started aging tequila in Mexico. And to me, it tastes like paint stripper.
I mean, it's not
be
aged at
honest.
all, right?
It's not aged at
What?
all. It tastes like, to me, it tastes like something you'd clean your bumpers and your headlights with. And if they put it in an oak barrel for 3 or 5 years, I might be willing to buy some. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of unaged corn liquor. Having had it, wow, that stuff's
see
harsh.
that when I treat. I feel like you and I need to now have that just so I could see if I could not. I've not had it in a long time. But I feel like we need to have it just to see if that logic holds up because
Yes.
I did not get that vibe out of it. I got
I
those
will.
strong. I got those powerful, but I
Oh,
got
it
that.
is.
I actually enjoyed it. And trust me, when I noticed it was really powerful. I definitely was. I was feeling the business from that one. And it wasn't the whiskey business from this one. I was feeling the moonshine business.
Uh-huh. Well, the only thing they need to make legal moonshine is to pay the federal tax,
Right.
which is why you can buy it now. There are companies that will pay the tax and then market it as moonshine, where it's exactly the way it would have been here back in the day, with wannabe NASCAR drivers running deliveries.
Yep. Well, we should
Except as
talk
long-
about how that's how NASCAR came about.
Yes,
Right? Running moonshine,
yes.
right? So they had
exactly. They
had
used
the
to
hottest
get together.
cars.
They had the hottest cars. They would get together at a field and make an oval, and they would see who could go around the fastest. And it was just my car's faster than your car thing, But yeah, the stuff
And
still
get away
exists.
from the cops. Yeah, get away from the
exactly.
cops.
Because you needed to be able
They had
to
slow cars
outrun.
back then too. Yeah.
Yep. And you were driving regular cars. You just found a really good mechanic who would breathe on it for you.
Yeah, it's not like later on when they had cop shocks and cop motors and you watched the
That's the
Blues
Blues Brothers.
So who was the victim in this crime that in this moonshine ring? Like you're operating a moonshine ring. Who was the victim in that?
The government.
Well, all right. I mean,
you poor government. Oh,
well, no. I mean, well, okay. So one of the things, and this has to be said because it's one line in the movie where he says, "Don't drink it, just sell it."
Yeah.
to the bar owner. Now, the thing that I've got, because I have read some of the Foxfire books, and they tell you everything you need to know about making a still, as long as they're still legal to buy. The problem is if you don't use the right metals to make your still, you can make some very, very toxic things. And there's always the chance you're getting wood alcohol along with the straight ethanol. So you're getting methanol and ethanol mixed together. And believe me, methanol turns you blind. And if you get enough of it, it'll kill you. So the thing about this kind of liquor is it's just somebody who's cooking it in their woods behind their house.
Yeah, we saw some of that was literally in their garage and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't know whether they're doing it carefully enough and using the right materials to build their stills. So part of the victim
they're not getting
is
inspected.
It's not getting inspected. It's not certified. There's nobody qualifying it. This is safe for human consumption. So it was always a buyer beware situation, and it still is with anything that isn't sold legally over the counter. So there is a potential victim.
Look how nice this engine looks. Sorry.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. And in the 70s, there were motor. The big blocks are going away, but I guess where this movie is set. But nice.
This was the last hurrah of. This is the last hurrah of them. You had to be a shine runner to own one of these engines at this time. This is 1973.
White Lightning.
Yeah.
73 was like the last year for decent engines.
73 was the gas crisis.
Yeah,
you couldn't buy gasoline for a car like this.
Okay, did I read Vulcan Lid's line here in the vein of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall Part 2?
Yeah.
I read it like that. I was just like, also I was like, well, yeah, we don't. we really don't. Paul Bustle here, welcome to the show, sir. So during Prohibition, the government intentionally put wood alcohol out to try and get people to not drink. Do you mean like they're trying to put wood as like an ingredient, or what?
No. They. You know what? Have you ever heard of denatured alcohol?
Yes, I
Yeah, I
have.
use it for my
Okay.
shop. Yeah.
That was introduced during Prohibition by the government. It's poisonous.
Yep.
Ooh.
And they killed thousands of Americans who bought it thinking it was legitimate bootleg liquor. No, the government put that out there to contaminate the liquor supply. Yes, that is a historical fact.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
messed up.
Yep,
What?
it is. Yeah,
Yep.
there are very few good stories about Prohibition that you'll ever hear. Quite frankly, almost all of the news out of that period in American history is bad. Yeah,
Holy crap, man! That is crazy. I just
yes, it is.
don't freaking know what to make. Wow. I'm like,
But
I should say, man, isn't that illegal? But then we're talking about the government here, and the word
Exactly.
illegal is exempt some magically from when it comes to the
and,
federal
and,
government.
and keep in mind when he first meets one of the bootleggers he's going to start running for, that he's trying to ingratiate himself with. This is how much he's shipping. He's about 800. I think it was, what was it, 800 gallons a month?
I didn't catch the number.
3,000 barrels a month, I think he said.
Wow.
My guess is
that's
considering it's a small town, that's got to be considered like a
that's
mega load. Yeah.
That's a huge amount of moonshine. He's selling to multiple towns. You can't move that much, even to bars. So yeah, that's a
it's
big
the sheriff.
operation.
The sheriff, he runs the show, right? And one
Right.
of the themes in this movie is like the guy that's with the sheriff. I can't remember his name, but it's number 2, where he's like, we can't do things like that anymore.
His right hand
laws
man.
have changed. His right hand
Was it
man.
Big
Yeah, the
Bear?
law.
I think it was Big Bear. That was
Big
with
Bear.
him.
Yeah, yeah. He's like,
it
the
was Big
laws
Bear.
have changed. You can't get away with that no more. It's there's more regulations. The government's encroaching more, and of course you got the theme of the South here and the Confederacy. Kind of the rebels and the good old boys. As we're talking. Like the the Dukes
you
of Hazzard.
definitely, you definitely have the us versus them attitude.
Yeah, in the North.
We're just trying to get by, and the government man is coming around and trying to screw with us. And people who are good people don't talk to them. And that is very true. That was very true with all of the. I mean, because mountain, the original rednecks, the people from the mountains, which is where.
Line.
The last time I saw you, you were flat chested.
right.
Very wonderful. Line.
Bert is Bert's pretty popular with these ladies, right?
Oh yeah, he is.
He's so popular that not only he's continuing to have a conversation as he's slowly getting the car going on the middle of the road, and there's a car back of the house. I was like, dude,
he doesn't care.
Probably would have today. He probably would have gotten a ticket. He definitely gotten a ticket, and that would have not flown whatsoever.
I can honestly say, if I hadn't seen a woman in 2.5 years,
4
I'd
years,
I'd have stopped to talk to them. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh yeah,
that's a toxic. That's a toxic line.
He was in a swarm of dudes. Then I go with you again. He was in a swarm of dudes. So it's just like, yeah, I get. But just the fact that he did all that, it just shows you. It's like, yeah, I got jail, but there's still aspects of me that still don't give a fuck. So I'm still gonna do some things that I shouldn't be doing. I won't be as bad. I will just not as bad. Just not as bad.
Right.
Yeah. And Vulcan, there you are not wrong. Or sorry, Beatty as Condors. He was not wrong about everything he said in some regards. Yes. Granted, he was a very foul villain. There were some things I get, especially with the comedy stuff. Oh yeah, there is about operating from the inside. Yeah, there's truth to that. There's absolutely truth to all that jazz. Absolutely.
But there were other ways of dealing with that didn't require you sink them in a canoe with a cinder block.
No, yeah. No. Oh yeah, that is definitely not the right method. And like
exactly. I mean, yes, it sends a message, but like I said, that's starting to remind me of the Southern Mafia in Walking Tall. Just bad news.
The original Walking Tall.
The original Walking Tall. Yeah. Yes.
What a name, Buford T. Pusser. I remember hearing that. I was like, that's all I could hear was on Buford.
Buford.
one.
Oh, we got the member gift.
Oh, Osmora 199 getting 5 huge memberships. Dude, Osmora, the man.
Huge.
Thank you, sir. Getting the night rolling.
Nice.
Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
sir.
Thank
Man.
you.
I love that. Woo! Hot damn. Getting that rolling now. Yeah, no. So, yeah, it was Zechariah, Paul Bustle, Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, Mars Monkey Max, and Empress NM all became channel members. I think they've all become channel
Sweet.
members again. I love it. You are a generous man, you. Hell yeah. All right. Anyways, is it his parents' house right here? Yeah,
Yes.
his parents' house. Yeah. I didn't think they'd end up having a part that they'd have to play later on. Oh boy, was I wrong. Once again, I showed you the
I
slime,
thought they would
the
show up again. Yeah.
slime of Connors, man. The slime showing like, oh, it's nice. It's just a scene showing that. Oh yeah, it's the parents. Nothing will happen here. Oh, you don't know. Oh, you don't know Sheriff Connors. Not one bit. What happened to Donnie? Donnie is the one who didn't screw up. Donnie is the one who kept it in line. He was the straight as an arrow type, whereas everyone else is the mess up. It's usually how it happens. It almost kind of correlates to real life, doesn't it, guys?
I was thinking Mom, Pa Kent here for a second, but in another, in a reverse kind of way, but
Mm.
so they kind of remind, the dad, and of course, Donnie's a good kid, right? He made good, and but then of course there's a real undercurrent. I don't know when this movie is set. I know is it set in the 70s or in the 60s or
Yeah, it is early 70s. It sounds
very
like
early
it.
70s, probably, right? Yeah, because all the anti-hippie stuff, and then there's a fun there's a truck going by that says legalized marijuana, which is a funny line about put the moonshine out of business. The guy's
right. Yeah, that nobody in that neighborhood's gonna like that message.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's just kind of a sad thing where the parents are sitting on the porch, but then the dad also doesn't want the son to rat any of the moonshiners out because he's a moonshiner.
Exactly.
So that was interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was saying. I mean, it's you don't turn over good people to the government. And he's just talking about, I just want that sheriff, Papa. So for him, he's trying to make it clear he's only after one guy. He's not gonna turn anybody else in. Not gonna inform on anybody else. He just needs to get to that sheriff. So you get that sense of, we stick together because we're the only people that care about us. That's the message you get about these poor folks in rural counties in the South. That the government's not here to help us. The government's here to ruin our whole day, keep us from making a decent living. You make an honest living.
No such story. I was just gonna say that to complete your statement, there's no story in history where government are the good guys. No such thing.
No exactly.
Thing. All right.
Here I got a clip here for us too. So let me play this.
Sure.
I don't know if we're gonna end up using this again.
Last time I saw you, you were Fletcher's.
Add that one to the toxicity.
That should go on the
list. No. No. We'll see if we want to keep that one in the pantheon. We'll see.
There's another good one I have coming up. I'm working on right now.
Good.
But too bad Gerry's not here for it.
Oh, well, I think I noticed when you're talking. Is it something involved later on with a certain line he says about pregnancy? Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that.
I'm clipping away now. Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to assume that this is a painting. This looks like a painting here, and I'm going to take the shade off this one.
Take the white lightning off. Yeah,
dude. Oh man, that is a smoking awesome. Look, he's got literal lightning in his hand. It says, "If you haven't seen white lightning you haven't seen Burt Reynolds. It's a very Mad Mardigan poster.
It
Yeah.
is.
That's bumping out, and then it's got this great line too. It's my kind of film. Booze, broad, car chases, corruption, and revenge. All the things that make life worthwhile.
Right.
Oh, that is a great way to wrap that one up. oh,
Oh, let me get the slideshow going again here. Yep, there we go.
yeah. Whenever we show off the subject, just keep
Yeah,
going.
keep it going. Yeah, keep
Yeah.
it going. Yeah, yeah.
There's
Unless
no
we're
need
missing
to-
something really. Unless
Oh,
we're
yeah.
missing something flat chested or like that or something. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, look, there's a car that says White Lightning on it, guys.
Oh, there we go.
Understood.
Yeah.
Look, it's the name of the movie on the car. Oh, oh. Did any of you guys notice? And this is some even I noticed just with my one viewing. I did catch on. Maybe this because I used to work on some cars at a few shops in my time. But I did notice at times some of his cars were stick and some of them were auto. Did any of you guys catch that?
Yeah, this car
Yeah.
was thick, and which I thought was unusual for that type of sedan, even back then. I
Well,
mean, you had the
but
option,
but if it was tuned, they would have put a
Yeah.
4-speed in it. But
Or they could have
then
converted
when he
it,
goes
yeah.
he arrives someplace and he puts the lever up on the tree on the steering column, and it's like that's an automatic. That's not that's not a 4 on the floor.
Yeah, because it looked like
So
it was
they-
a Hearst. It looked like a Hearst shifter to me.
It was.
That's some
That's
shifter,
what it
yeah.
exactly what I think it looked like. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was a continuity error. They just
Yeah.
they did it. They put it in before they modified the car where he's shifting the gears there, or they put a fake shifter in the bottom. I don't know
No.
which they did.
Or it was just,
But-
or a lot of times they have different cars for different
Right.
scenes or parts of the movie. So that could have been like the daily driver, not souped up car. Maybe it was just, the standard.
Exactly.
It happened to be an automatic and they just forgot,
I
Yeah.
truly believe it's a little bit simpler than that. I think it's just one of those things, especially this is at a time where the internet was not around. You can watch these movies. I'm assuming VHS was not around yet.
No, it wasn't. Oh God, no.
My guess is
yeah.
it was not something they expected as many people to catch. It was, and if you did, it was just kind of like whatever. It's not a big deal. So I think it's still not a big deal to now, in my opinion, at least, because there's if that's the worst of the issues of a movie, it's a small thing at best. You could call it a nitpick, if you will.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. 2 years before
major, though.
James Bond entered an alley with the car on 2 wheels on one side and came out of the alley on 2 wheels on the other side. And they left it in the movie because they couldn't afford to fix it.
Yeah, it's too expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let it go. Nobody will notice.
Yep. We all notice. Yep.
But we do
Or like
now.
one of my favorite movies, Commando, when Arnold, when he flips the Porsche after he drops Sully and he drives off, and you can see like the car is totally perfect. As the car, he floors and it kind of squiggles. You can see like the car was not damaged, so it was fun.
Right.
But back then I was on VHS. I'm like, look at that, they screwed up, and of course they could fix it now with CGI, but it's not worth it. It actually makes the movie kind of cool, right? The car's perfect. Yeah.
I like how he got the drop on Dude Watson. Dude's like, oh, look, he parked far. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Also,
Yep.
he just drops from the other side. He's like, wow, dude, you were not prepared for the Reynolds, even mustacheless Reynolds.
No.
Hey, it's a fellow barbarian by Crom. How's it going,
Yeah.
Conan? Thanks for dropping in. I loved your last comic, by the way. Conan's
Yeah, we're
been-
lamenting about this movie tonight.
Yeah. That was
But I'm
good.
bumped. Sorry, it was bad. yeah.
Speaking of really quickly, have you been reading
She's
Conan,
cute.
Mark?
No, I haven't been reading, but I
You
should be instead of
should.
some of the
You
crap that
should.
I'm buying and reading. Yeah.
You should. It's 9
I've heard it's
issues
good.
in, and it's great. It is simply
Is it
great.
limited series or is it
It's ongoing. It's ongoing.
okay.
And Zub's
We'll
plan
drop
is
into
to
it, yeah.
ideally hoping to go like 50 issues with it. That's his ideal plan. But
Nice.
dude, it's great. It's super brutal. It's super toxic. Like
Nice.
whatever if whatever is your most, let's just say, PC title you have, swap that out for Conan. you're gonna get the opposite of that because, dude, oh, Conan is so much fun. Anyways, back to the movie before it
Yeah,
turns into a
yeah.
Conan conversation.
Yeah,
We'll
he's
say
putting
Conan talk for Toxic Tuesday, Conan, whenever that may be.
he's putting the squeeze on this guy here who plays. Let me see. He's this dude Watson, Matt
Mhm.
Clark.
What a
You already
name,
broke.
dude
You already
Watson.
broke probation. You're mine now. You know, you don't help me, they'll put you away again. So he's got him over a barrel. And he's legitimately terrified. It was like, no, man, you're not going to get court proof. You ain't going to make it. And he's right, as it turns out. By the end of the movie, he's not going to get
money, man.
He's not going to get anything admissible in court. And he figures that out as he goes along and decides, all right, I got to find another way to do this. But
He looks like
he's got this guy. He's got this guy snowed. This guy has nowhere to run.
He looks like one of those Weasley type of guys, almost like the guy who pisses his pants in True Lies. He reeks of that Weasel vibe.
Yes.
He's that guy of the movie. One of those this guy. Watch out for this guy. He seems useless, but watch out. He'll definitely. He's the one who'll put the knife behind your back.
The only better actor for playing this kind of character that I've ever seen is Dennis Hopper.
Which movie?
Hoosiers, where Hopper plays the alcoholic who becomes the assistant coach, and he's forced to take a leading role in one game. Yeah. He doesn't believe in himself. He's only brave behind a shotgun in his shack.
Wow.
Hopper's phenomenal in that role, and he could have played this role like breaking sticks.
I gotta rewatch that because I haven't seen Hoosiers. I think since
I've seen that forever.
7th
Yeah.
or 8th grade.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's a good basketball movie, but man, has it been such a long time since I seen it.
Yeah,
I think it's because I think it was a few years after I was really into basketball because of the Jordan era. So
right.
yeah, man. Woo-hoo. I'm being too hard on the dude. I'm the dude. I see what you did there. That was good.
Shaky booty landing.
The dude abides.
Yeah, the
Dude abides,
the dude. Yeah, but unfortunately, this dude doesn't abide.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't make it to the end of the movie.
So there's another great tagline for this movie, and I when I was doing my homework for it, I thought it was great as another one, and it's just like, okay, I get it, but it was a weird one. It was white lightning never strikes twice, 'cause once is enough. I'm like, what? I mean, what? I mean, I know the quote of lightning doesn't strike twice, but why they just added because once is enough? I feel because when you add in the because once enough, it kind of hurts the impact of the white lightning never strikes twice. To me, it's definitely one of the odder taglines of the movie.
Yep. Oh, on the car too. Look, he's got the rebel flag on the front and the side. The rebel.
There's a few flags in this movie. There's a few. I think one that was even in the dude Watson's house, backyard in that little garage house where he was doing work. I think I caught one in there too. There's a few of them in this movie. That's for sure.
Well, the strangest one I ever saw I was in Rome, Italy a couple years ago, and have all the scooters there. Someone had it on the back of like their travel, have a luggage case or whatever, and the scooter had a big rebel flag on the scooter in Rome. I'm like, the hell is this doing here on this little teeny scooter? I'm like, oh, this is what the Duke boys have come to now, but it was nuts.
Yeah.
Like they're in scooters. What happened?
Meep meep.
Oh no. We'll talk to him. Go talk to him. I ain't bothered. Man. I'll tell you what though. I mentioned looking when they were working on some of these cars earlier, you see the car now. On the old school bodies, the amount of room, I don't know how well you guys know old cars, but I like how on the body there's so much open room for these cars. Like, especially if you were trying to work, it was almost like not that every moron could work out, but if a guy could make the connection, put 2 and 2 together, he can make some stuff happen, basically, and not
Well-
have to go to a dealer because something is modified to force them to go to a shop.
Yeah, there's
No, no,
electronics.
No, these cars. I mean, my first car was a 1971 Oldsmobile. Was
Okay.
basically like these. If you got the tiny engine in the big car, you could stand in the engine bay to work on the engine. You could
Yeah.
literally stand inside it.
Well, I have a '67 Mustang that I've always working on, and my sister's 10 years younger than me. So when I had the car,
69.
I have it. No, 67.
Oh,
not a 69. No, sorry.
Nice try.
Nice
Come
try.
on.
Yep.
Traded in for
69 is a nice year
69.
too. Yeah, 69. The fastback 69. Yeah, is a nice. The coupe didn't look so good, but I had a buddy who had a 69 fastback. But yeah, so when I'm working on the car, I've had this. My grandmother bought. Well, actually, my mom bought the car new in 67. But I'm working on the car. And my sister's like 12 years old or 10 years old at the time. That's how long ago. So she's like, Mark, what's wrong with your car? Your car. As I'm working on it, she's like, what, Jackie? What's the problem? She's like, but I can see the ground through the engine. I'm like, where's everything? Like, because I have this inline 6, which is a 200 cubic inch engine, and
Right.
it's the smallest, slowest engine on that car, which someday I'll change out. But yeah, like it's totally open. You like Richard said, you could just stand next to the engine there. It's so damn, and there's no electronics. There's no the government can't track me. It's almost like Red Barchetta and by Rush. Where the government can't track you anymore, right? You got the old car. Now they're gonna want to track everything you do with GPS and. We're like, I got pulled over one time driving because the cops like, where's your emission sticker? So I'm like, this is 67. There ain't no emissions on this. So he's like, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It's like
it's
pre-emissions,
grandfathered.
Yeah.
By the way, that was that scene we just saw though, where he demands to basically Gator McCluskey says, I want to meet this sheriff. And he's sitting there talking to he's not talking to him. The dude's talking to him. And Gator's just staring at him and revving the engine, which you can hear is a big block, very well tuned, very powerful engine. It's doing the NASCAR, type of thing. Yeah. And Ned Beatty's standing there talking to dude, and he's looking at, and he's eyeballing Gator, and Gator's just staring at him. And it is just the most it's the most amazing I know who you are moment where he's like, I'm coming. And it's just serving notice. He's serving
Ned
notice.
Beatty doesn't know that. Yeah.
He doesn't know that. He doesn't get it. He just thinks this guy's just some wise ass with a big engine.
We also have another great moment that we obviously because we have a good conversation. One thing when McCluskey sees O'Connor's, he says, only 2 things in the world I'm scared of. And Connors is like just 2? Yeah. And what's that? And McCluskey's like, women and the police. I was like, wow. And dude's just like, what the police? And Cher's like, oh, you spend all your time trying to humble both, don't you? And McCluskey's just like, yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
Guys,
that was.
I heard that too. I heard
that was a stare down worthy of any classic Western. It really was.
Oh man, that was just absolutely
high noon.
You notice
yeah, exactly. That's kind of thing.
This is a weird bit, but you notice how Sheriff I don't know. I keep saying O'Connor's, just Sheriff Connors. I guess stop saying O'Connor. It's a habit. Sheriff Connors sweats a lot in this movie. You notice that he sweats a lot.
I got news for you. Back in the early 1970s in the South, most people didn't have air conditioners. They had a window air conditioner with a bedroom.
Yeah, you could see that in one of the rooms in one of the clips there.
Yes. You sweated your ass off almost everywhere. Central air conditioning wasn't a thing back then. So this is actually true to life that everybody looks like they've been sprayed
Yeah.
with water the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I
brutal.
love my AC. I can't. And look at, he's wearing that long sleeve pop collar shirt,
Yep.
dude. And here's another thing: where's the seatbelts?
Oh, ain't no seatbelts back then.
Oh, lap
Everyone was
belts. No, they were
rowdy,
lap. If they had anything, it was a lap belt.
No, is that
Yeah, my
just what goes
Mustang
down the
has lap
waist?
belts. Yeah, my Mustang just has lap belts. Of course, what's one of the things I'll probably put in is shoulder belts eventually, because the lap belts actually are more dangerous.
They tear you in
might not
half.
you don't get thrown out, but you get torn in half, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
is that around the waist that goes? 'Cause
Yes.
It's just around the waist, just around
It's
the
right
waist.
over your belt, right over your pants belt on your hips, and that's all you have. So if the car comes to a sudden stop, every part of you except your hips doesn't.
Yeah. You slam into the steering wheel, basically.
You slam into everything. It hurts. Yeah, it's not good. The 3-point seatbelt was a marvelous invention. Trust me.
You're almost better off not wearing that lap belt, I think. Yeah.
Well,
maybe yes and no, but yeah,
you hit more things inside the car if you weren't wearing it. But so it was really a toss up. It was like, how do you want to go?
Yeah,
it's really what it was. Quickly or slowly.
Yeah, because I grew up, we didn't wear seatbelts till maybe 1980. I think we started wearing seatbelts in the early 80s. But yeah, growing up, I remember one of my mom's best friends was a seatbelt fanatic back then. And God, I should never tell. No one's gonna listen or know this, but she got in my mom's car, or like no one, her family would never hear this. But my mom told me never to tell anyone. So, Mom, we're going to confession this weekend. 1,000 people will hear this. But then her friend, she was so scared of driving and being in the car without a seatbelt that she got in the floor of the front seat facing backwards. Like, she was so scared of being in the car without. My mom's like, where are the seatbelts? She's like, I don't know. We don't have seatbelts. It was a 67 Toyota, and we had the car for like 15 years. So, no, you didn't wear seat. I mean, the pictures of me coming home from everyone coming home from the hospital, you got the nurses, giving, the moms, the baby, just in the front seat of the car, just, you drove home, not that it was a good idea, but that's just the way it was, and Mom held you when you're coming home, or, that was it. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I see. I since I've been born, I mean, that's all I've known. That's all I've known.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying that as like a dig or anything. It's just, that's all I've experienced is like.
Well, you're lucky. You didn't have the irritating bong, the bell that would ring repeatedly if you sat down on the seat without buckling the seat belt.
Oh yeah, we didn't have.
And
that.
You'd start the car, and it would start running, and you'd hear ding, 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 and it would do that until you shut off the car or buckled the seat belt.
Dude.
There were people who found out which wire powered that ding and cut it. I'm not kidding.
Every car has that now, right? Doesn't every car have the seat belt thing?
They've got a warning of some sort, that your seatbelt's not fastened. They usually give you up until about 20 miles an hour before they start nagging you. Yeah. But back in the day, it was the minute the car turned on. And you know what people did? My cousin, who was a cop, did this. He would buckle the seatbelt on the seat
and sit on it,
and then sit on it.
Yeah.
That avoided the alarm. Yep. Oh yeah.
My dad would always start driving without buckling the seatbelt, and I'd yell at him, and then the thing would go ding. The newer car would go ding. I'm like, Dad, just put the seatbelt on again. And shut up. What do you know? I will drive and then put my seatbelt on later. And there'd be like a red light. I'm like, but what if you crash? Do not jinx me. Shut up.
Leave me. That's the best response. Do not jinx me.
Yep.
Oh man.
But yeah, this is
one time I'm a War backseat driver, so I'm a little kid, and we're talking car crashes, great stuff here. So I would bug him sometimes, like, watch out, or what are you doing? We're at an intersection, and he turns and he smashes into a car, and he's like, why didn't you say something? I'm like, we told me to shut up a few minutes ago. So, and then they put in a stop sign there. It was like a place that should have had a 3-way stop. So if you took
Right.
the turn, you couldn't see it. So it's like that's it. You get to no allowance for the year. You know? I'm like,
Well,
it was your fault.
This is the era. I gotta say this. This is the automotive era where only the strong survived.
Yeah. And these cars are tough to drive too. I mean, you kids have never driven a big ass car like this. It maybe had a definitely had a small front sway bar.
Buick, the long body.
Yeah, but these are tanks. These are tanks on wheels, and probably didn't have, like, that car probably had a rear sway bar. But these cars just do not handle well. I mean, they're all over the place. Like my Mustang, I've upgraded and put, big sway bars and better suspension, but I mean, they're rough. I mean, you can see when they're driving too, and they're just all over the road. So if you drove my '67 Mustang, and then it would be like driving a Model T Ford compared to like a car today, just in terms of you drive a car today, like they're like sports cars compared to what we were driving back in the 70s.
Even the family
that's
car
true.
nowadays,
Just the family sedan
car is a luxury car now. They've made all of them luxury cars. So
and just the steering. Like I had a friend driving to high school, the steering box was all screwed up, so he could turn the wheel. I think it was like almost a turn and a half before the steering would engage each way. So he'd have fun with it. Like the first time someone got in the car, he'd start to spin the wheel. He's like, "Oh shit, the steering's not working."
I had a friend who had a flathead screwdriver as his turn for using the turn signal. The flathead screwdriver. I'm not joking. I remember he got that car for $77. I remember that car.
$77.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe how good the drivers were to make these cars do what they're doing at the speed they're doing. And they're not going that fast. They're only going maybe 50 miles an hour on these back roads and dirt roads.
They look good,
to drive one of these things at 50 miles an hour was an adventure.
So correct me if I'm wrong. From what it sounds like from you, Redshirt and Mark, it sounds like, to some extent, it's not like in order to drive a car way back in the day, it actually kind of took a little bit of, dare I say, talent to do it.
Oh yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
Especially
in bad conditions too. Yeah. Like
the
first time my wife drove my Mustang, she came back home and she's like, "Your car's broken." My God, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, "Well, what's the matter?" She's like, I'm like, "Well, first of all, they're drum brakes all the way around.
Oh,
It's got power steering, but it's
way back when the drum brakes.
Yes.
Yeah, drum brakes all around, which I've upgraded to discs all around now. But
as we're saying, these cars get manual up. Here we are talking about car parts.
Yeah. And the steering, just like the steering, there's a little steering arm on the Mustang, and it's not rack and pinion, so it's just a little cylinder, and the steering arm is like 3 inches long. It's really and it's bumping and banging, and there's noises everywhere. It's creaking. I mean, you get so she's like, "I'm never driving that again." She's like, "Oh my God."
I look at some of the older cars, and I will admit, some of the older cars, 60s and 70s, there's some absolutely gorgeous cars, and I've admired them for years. And then I remind myself I had a 1973 BMW, which I loved, but I wouldn't want to own it now because it was
just driving on the
terrible.
weekends once in a while. Yeah.
Did you ever get to do
as
stuff
long as I'm
like this?
as long as I'm not in a hurry, yes. My car right now has better performance than Magnum PI's Ferrari from the mid 70s.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, it does. And it's comfortable to drive for 3 hours on a highway or go anywhere I want or drive around winding roads. It's a hoot to drive. There is no such thing as a great old car compared to a modern car. Just buy a modern car you like and stick with it, because old cars are ancient in terms of technology. And these things are buckboard wagons with motors in them. They really are.
I don't doubt it.
They are. You can't until you've tried to drive one of these American boats with a 275 horsepower V8 engine in it. Mark is laughing.
It's a
Right
lanyard.
now, Mark,
Yeah.
Mark is laughing because he's got a V6 in his. He's going, I wish I had 275 horsepower.
Yeah.
Damn it!
It was scary enough the way it was. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody from Car and Driver once said that the '57 Chevy was scary to drive at highway speeds in '57, 75
Yeah, I
miles
mean, I
an
got my
hour.
Mustang up to 100 miles an hour once, and it was
Yeah.
scary. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
was
and he said
scary.
it's terrifying at 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing about these older car movies where they're driving and they're sliding all over the place is like they're not doing that because they're stunt drivers. They're doing that because that's the way the car handles.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
the
that
car-
great drop that he got? That great
Yeah.
getaway
Oh, that's
drop
awesome.
on the freaking that platform and the
Yeah, to go
water.
back
I was
to
like,
that.
Yes.
yeah, that's one thing we can go
That's
back
a big
to.
FU. That's a big FU.
I mean, granted, like chase scenes in the last 20 years, really good. They're a lot more stylish. This is very more traditional looking, but you still feel the adrenaline of this because he's on the run from the authorities.
Right.
And the fact that he got that drop, I remember thinking, oh man, I thought he was actually gonna maybe get out of the car, maybe let the car fall in the water, kind of what we saw in The Longest Yard. Nope, he freaking lands that thing to the
Is that boat moving when they did this stunt, or was it I guess maybe it was stationary just for the stunt.
I would imagine it's stationary. I can't imagine.
I can't see any wake.
Anything else?
Yeah.
I can't see any wake, so I suspect that sucker's anchored out there, and then
They started
jumps
moving it. Yeah.
Then they moved it. Yes.
I didn't read anything about this stunt, but that's a great stunt. God.
Seriously, it's so awesome to see, and I did not expect this to be the outcome. And of course, you got the big smirky Burt Reynolds shaved smile, gotcha, bitch.
The cops admiring him there, I'll
Yep.
give you some points for that one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
All right, you got me.
I'll be damned.
He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look bad. He's almost there is almost like a sense of admiration, you know how to play the game. I gotta give it to you.
I'm not gonna shoot you.
Along with I'll be back.
yeah. All right. Vulcan Lives get that 5 huge memberships. Man, Vulcan. Dude, thank you, dude.
Thank
Hell
you.
Yeah. And those went out to Yagnomino, Student OG, Abigor, Stephen Mack, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And so, Matthew Marzillo. Hell yeah. Little guy.
Abigor got a membership. We're doomed.
Abigor. Yeah.
Make sure you use those icons. We got to add more icons eventually. We got to add some new icons.
Speaking of memberships, I will be doing a member stream Thursday afternoon. So keep your eyes and ears open. There will be one. Okay. So I somehow March was so hectically crazy that I wasn't able to get to one, but I'm going to try to do 2 this month to make up for not having one last month, but for sure one this Thursday. I'm going to see if I can try the DR one. Hopefully maybe on a Saturday later in the month, but I'm going to do my damnedest to get to 2 this month. But the very minimum, I'm going to get you the 1. But I apologize if I don't get 2, but I would like to make up for it. So I hope to see a lot of you huge members there, because if you are in the huge tier, you get to be part of the panel when you're in the huge tier. So keep that in mind as incentive here.
And Poon's Cat, someday you'll get a membership gifted. I feel bad for Poon's Cat. Whoever they never haven't gotten a gift membership yet. Someday,
one day, brother.
You'll get lucky. Yep.
You will come, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be mighty huge. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
yeah, right, dude. Besides the very southernish quotes, you want to know what's very notable about Gator's character? And I don't know if it's just the Gator character, but it's something about this movie. Burt Reynolds' laugh. That laugh is it really stands out. Because he does it a few times, and I'm just like, I don't recall that being Burt Reynolds' laugh. Am I wrong in that, or is that something that he just does for?
I haven't paid attention to it, but
no, seriously, chat. Tell me if someone had to have known that. Someone had to have caught on to that. that he had that very specific laugh for this movie.
I think this is where he started using it, because I have heard that from him when he seems really entertained by something. But I think this is the first movie where he decided to laugh that way, because he doesn't laugh much in, for example, Deliverance. He doesn't really laugh. But yeah, I think that was part of, he made that part of the character he tends to play, but later in the 70s. I think maybe this is the first time we've seen it, but I could be wrong. And the chat obviously will do the due diligence and find out.
Be our fact checkers. Yeah.
Yes. And let me just say, this is Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds can charm any woman.
Yeah, she's a little old for him there, but
she's a little old for him, but hey,
he doesn't care.
Is it gonna stop him?
He needs the info.
Still turning on the charm.
I've known some dudes in my life where that's not a deal breaker for them. I think we all know that dude. We all know that dude. So I remember when I went to Lincoln Tech, I knew some dudes who were, let's just say they had high ambitions. Really high ambitions. So yeah, really high ambitions. And I'm just like, well, I guess it's good that you're not trying to go for the young. You're just going for the high age, way high. Oh, right here, Toxic saying, I just want a good night kiss. I'm not so sure. Very toxic moment right
and takes one, and then she's like, you're too much.
And then she gets in it.
And then she knows he's just looking for some help. But I guess he was here. He's just trying to get some information, right? An inside track.
Right.
And
he is. This is how Nick's parents met.
You guys are hilarious. I love that.
But no, that's a classic Burt Reynolds character. You know, whatever it takes.
Charm the ladies, yeah. But he still gets turned down. He gets turned down in the end. And he's like, I don't want the license. He actually just wanted the inside info. But I'm surprised she turned him down though, too, because that's Burt Reynolds. You know, he would have been in the People magazine. Top sexiest people. 1973, right? So,
oh yeah,
son of a dog. I got turned
like,
down.
Damn it, they didn't give me the right lines. I had to turn him down, damn it. Oh, could have had a scene with Burt Reynolds.
Right.
Oh man. Did we I mean, granted, I know there was some obviously with since we got the slideshow moving at a certain speed, I feel like we may have overlooked, I think may have skipped over, but there's a line used earlier and maybe somehow I'm wrong, but it's where he has got the knife up against his.
That's later.
So it is like, okay, so we didn't miss it. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't miss it. I got that queued up.
There was a Mad Mardigan line there just a moment ago. I can jerk the head, but I can't get it to you until Tuesday.
Oh, that's a very handy Randy line.
Yes, it is.
That is very, very handy. I like that one. That one definitely deserves. Oh no, were my clips shuffled? I feel like my clips were shuffled. Why can't I find
what you're looking for?
I was gonna look for the Oh, here we go.
There's no sense in going off half-cocked.
Oh my God, the cock.
I think I moved all the bonds.
Oh. Culture will never live that. If any of you guys are going to Vegas, I know Culture will be there. You guys better, we'll just say figuratively, gotta rub that in his face. You better rub that in Culture's face, because I will not forget the first stream he said that on.
You're gonna rub the "oh my God" the cock in his face.
That's why I said figuratively before I said all of it.
Right.
Okay. We'll let this play as we're talking about this. For those who were not there, that one moment back when Yelling at Park Guards used to be a Monday night show. We had MVP on as a guest, Max Von Priestley, and Max is we'll just say he's a really nice guy. He's a really good guy. He's got a great YouTube channel, really focused on comics, and Max is almost like a Captain America in a sense. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Boy
that's a good
Scout.
description.
He's a Boy Scout. I don't think Max was ready for that night with the Dix division.
Oh,
warned him.
having talked with him, I'm pretty sure he would never be ready for.
We
the
should have
expedition.
warned him.
Yes,
We should have warned him because when Coulter said that line,
Did he keep yelling language? Language.
he may as well should have, and I would have not blamed him. But I remember the look on his face. I was just like, yeah. Here, speaking of that line, but he was not ready for that line. I was like, I don't blame you, Max. I don't regret it, but I don't blame you either on the flip side.
Poor guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was some things, and I've been on, and I will be on shows with Max in the future that are more fitted, but it was not the right fit. It was not the right fit.
Another
We're
comment on
about culture in the cock and Brahma Bull and his milk and my 69 flavors. Yeah, there's some things that just don't fit in the world.
another comment
Respect
about
MVP, by the way. Go on.
Gator's character here, Nick. He says, the guy's got the knife against his throat, and he, says, "Don't ever cross me" or whatever, and then just Gator just looks at him and says, "How would you like that knife shoved up your ass?" And the guy his mouth falls open, and he says, "Well, I wouldn't like that at all."
That was the.
How'd you like that knife shoved up your ass? I wouldn't like that at all.
What a great response, because it's not the response you expect him to say. You're thinking, oh, he's gonna maybe shove it a little deeper into the skin of his neck, and he just is like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe I wouldn't like that. It's kind of like when you're having like a back and forth with someone, and one of you uses the lines, "Well, how would you like if it happened to you?" And the fact that he was just all of a sudden out of nowhere, kind of reasonable, is like, yeah, maybe I would like that. Right? What? That's his response. I didn't expect that in the movie. Very, very, very rare response.
Well, I read it as a test, and Gator passed. It's the way I read that. Is that he read it was react, let me see if you got any balls, boy, and Gator just looks at him and
him off.
Right. And he's flicked the cigarette out of his mouth with the knife, put it back on his throat, says, and then Gator looks at him and says, "How would you like that knife shoved up your ass?" He says, "I wouldn't like that at all. Come on inside and sit a while."
Okay. Hey,
you passed.
Respect.
Exactly. It's respect.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's
you gotta, there's okay. There's a lot of dick measuring contests in this movie.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. That was one of them.
Trying to show off for the lady. Guys just trying to show off to the guys. The authorities are trying to be dick measurers too. Yeah. It's just a town full of dick measurers. I guess you could say that is a point of toxicity alone right there, because all these dudes want to be the baddest man on the block. Yeah, imagine that. Once upon a time.
Think junkyard dog, if you've ever heard that expression.
I have.
In this society, that's an attribute. That's a positive attribute.
Yeah. Well,
that serves you in good stead. If you're the studious book type, you get tied to a cinder block and sunk in a pond. If you're the junkyard dog, people take you seriously. And that's very much what this movie is talking about.
I found a special version of that clip on the director's cut.
How'd you like that knife shoved up your ass?
In the ass?
I wouldn't like that at all.
They should have included that clip in the movie. For those of you who don't know, that's actually a clip from the Newlywed Game that Bob Eubanks thought never existed that someone finally dug up.
Yep.
Oh,
Good thing Gerry's not here tonight because we'd have gotten sidetracked about a half hour on that scene. Because
Gerry will respond about the knife part being in his butt.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, about my recipe for shaky pudding. Shaky pudding. So, okay, what is shaky pudding? What am I missing here?
I'll let Red Shirt say it.
You do tell.
Oh, go right ahead.
I got to go to
Absolutely
confession this week.
We'll just add one more.
Is this supposed to be like some thing for anal or something?
No,
Whoa! What a greatly timed face that was as I said that. Go back.
You guys aren't gonna start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Oh. Southern, I will say this: Southern vernacular is full of euphemisms. That's why when a Southerner wants to tell you to go fuck yourself, they say "bless your heart."
Just look it up in the Urban Dictionary, everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we won't get this show any more demonetized than it already is.
That's too late now, but yeah.
Oh, I should check. I've actually not even checked this entire show as safe for demonetized.
Well, why don't you want to put that in here? Here we go. So I'll put in the private chat. You can decide whether or not you want to put it on the screen.
Oh, what is it? Oh, are you talking about the line she said in the car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, when she said about when she first played, with herself, I was just like, bro, the pitchforks, the freaking pitchforks.
Let's just say, look that up yourself.
She says at the age 12 too.
Oh yeah, she was early.
Yeah.
Okay. I see in the private chat. Okay.
So you can say that if you want.
I've heard of Poontang. Obviously, I know that one. Rock for that.
Yeah.
I could thank The Rock for that one, but I had not heard of that for pudding.
You'll never eat pudding the same way again.
Well, I was always more of like a toffee type of guy in the sticky side of things. I like my sticky toffee pudding, if you will.
Aha.
Yeah. That is probably the straightest comment you'll hear on the show. Other than that, what's up, TZ? I love that avatar. Of course, it's the lightsaber. I forgot. They put something in there. All right, they.
Oh yeah.
Well, I would hope it's not chocolate, because if it's not chocolate, that means you just had a poopsicle, and you don't want that. Oh, this conversation here had me laughing with all students, because one of the lines. Well, first it goes into the gun debate, which shows you would not change anything about our conversations. But another one of the lines was the female president line, and granted, I do
that was hysterical.
Best. I do my absolute best to keep out of politics on the show, but I just want to mention a quick thing. We can move on from the fact that the lady, like, well, if we had a female president, there wouldn't be any more war. And nowadays, you see the amount of female politicians and what could have been a president that have all signed off on war. Oh, just saying. If you guys want a quick thought, you can have it, and then we can
I have a non-political, very toxic quick thought on that.
Okay.
That does not take into account that every 28 days World War III would start.
Now
What
you're
am I missing?
canceled.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Dude.
leave that lying there.
All right. Mark, anything?
Nah, but I just caught me too. I laughed really loud when that line played because I was like, "Go figure," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just.
But he's trying to talk to the college students, and they're just all speaking in received wisdom. They're just spouting the lines they've been told to him,
Yeah,
which is again, nothing has changed. That started back in the '60s, and it hasn't changed. It's just gotten worse. But this is now. Okay, now here's our lady who's trying to cause trouble.
Oh,
sure. Lou is causing trouble.
Man.
Oh boy.
Oh, dude, Luke got in trouble. Mad Martin got a straight up boner when he saw Roy walking around in his underwear. I was just like, oh, look at them 70s whitey tighties. She's over here bringing him the foods, and she just undoes it all for our man here. And go figure, Gator is in the water as a gator in the water.
Yep.
Insert dad joke here.
Yep.
God, sleep it. I was just like, wow, this really reeks of some HBO moment dialogue here of 90s.
I have to admit, I was very disappointed that we didn't need Mad Mardigan at any point in this scene.
I bet you were.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to. Yeah, and she's like, "Come on, eat my pudding, boy."
No, we're at the point now where Mark is now hoping for this type of work, we've been too easy and too boring on Mark. Now we gotta bump that up. I haven't seen a whorehouse in a long time. I can't remember how much there was, if there was.
I can't remember now either. Yeah,
I can't either.
But I thought I was gonna have to have Mads appear. I almost put his face. If I had time, I would have put his face on one of these pictures. But
Handy Randy, are you still there? You tell me, sir, if you're still around. You tell me. Is that what you would like right there? Oh, how come is you out? Well, I don't know. Poon's cat says she kind of has a horse face. Well, for some men,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, once again, I've known some interesting fellas in my life. I've known some interesting fellas that have not only have had either higher ambitions in terms of the high age, or let's just say very mild ambitions in terms of appearance. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
There's some dudes who are just whatever, man. It just is what it is. So sorry, toxic ones. It's not going to be in this movie. It's just not. But can we talk about, and we'll do a little quick trivia, one quick trivia question for our chat as we see Whitey Tighties here.
There we go.
Ned Beatty, I said it right this time. Ned Beatty and Burt Reynolds were also in a movie a year before this movie. Without Googling it, which movie was it? Well, I want to say this should be fairly easy. I've had some weird questions, but this should be an easier one. Someone should know this right away. We got almost 50 of you in the chat, which thank you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Which movie were Ned Beatty and Burt Reynolds in together? There we go. Yeah, our boys right here. Yeah.
Thank you for delivering.
And Juggalo, they knew. Thank you guys. Hell yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Dixon Milk. Did you guys ever Dixon Milk? I'm looking at this card. I'm thinking, that's either like a Southern brand or something that they made for the movie? Because when I think of milk, I can't help but think about the.
I've never heard of that. Yeah, well, it makes sense down Mason Dixon line, right? Dixon Milk. Yep.
Dixie, Dixon.
Yeah, and look at the car. What's the car there on the wall? There is that the. But yeah, it's.
What?
Oh, nice.
Woo! B. Marte says nothing, and he just drops a 20.
Thank you. Yeah. Very nice.
Wow, dude, I'm just kind of left stunned. Like, thank you. Just
You can
the
buy some
man
moonshine with that.
drunk. He just comes here, drops a 20, and he's just like, "Hi, Nick. Bye, Nick." Wow. Thank you. That's hot dog. That's a hot dog day. Woo!
Very
It-
nice.
It's a good thing. My new neighbor, by the way, is I remember thinking, am I not gonna be able to make loud noises at night? And then our new neighbor came in. It's a guy who's a young guy who's a gamer, and I hear him on his headphones playing games. I'm like, yes, I could be equally as loud as him, if not even louder. It's okay because he's on his headphones. Whew. That is, yeah. Anyways, let's carry on with the movie because I think we got like about a half hour left of the greatness of this movie here because it's about to get a lot more chase scenes and it's gonna get fast. And at some scenes, I thought I was gonna get to some Death Wish level moments of intensity, if you know what I mean, gentlemen.
You guys aren't gonna start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
And no, that it has nothing to do with that. But just because a certain Lou she gets caught up in the middle of certain things that I thought were gonna happen. I'm like, oh, is this gonna be? Is it gonna be? Because you know, our man gets handcuffed at one moment. I was just like, oh, is it gonna be? Nope, it wasn't. It wasn't. But oh boy, did you feel like it was coming?
I thought so. I thought something was coming there. Yeah. So,
I thought it was gonna happen. I was like, oh well, I guess we had to have our Death Wish moment before Death Wish. Nope, it wasn't. I'll admit it, I was a little slightly at ease. I'll admit it, I was a little slightly I'll admit it.
And I gotta say about Ned Beatty so far in this film, that's a bad hat, Harry. that is. I bet if you buy this hat, you get a free bowl of soup with it.
We missed the toxic line about useless as tits on a boar hog.
oh
Yeah.
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 There we go. Yeah, that's
There it
next on
is.
my list to clip.
Oh, that's not an image we ever need a visual of ever. Straight up, full stop, ever. But oh boy, that's a line that
was on my list to clip. Well, here's
that
one
is
from
a
clip.
earlier, but
You got it.
and
Okay.
I'm going to get it next. But here's one from a little
Okay.
bit earlier. Yeah.
Only two things in the world I'm scared of. I'm scared of two things. What's that? Women and the police.
I got that useless line is as much an old Southern expression as anything I can remember from my childhood. I have heard that many times. So yeah, that it's toxic as hell, but man, I've heard that since I was a little kid.
Oh, you heard that before? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We don't hear that up in the north.
It was about the
No,
colors and the
no, it's not a northern expression, it's Southern expression.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, like bless your what somebody tells you, bless your heart. They're not being nice to you.
All right.
Next time I get offered pudding in South, I'm not in the South. I'm gonna think twice.
So our friend here, JT Gunn, has hit 1K recently. So I just want to say shout out to
Awesome.
JT Gunn. Congratulations on
Way to
1K,
go.
sir. That's absolutely
Congrats.
fantastic. It's nice to see others succeed, and I'm always happy for others when they hit those milestones.
That's a good one. To hit, yeah.
I love seeing people succeed. It makes me happy when I see people succeed. So, and that's what it should be all about. Is that so? Just saying. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Another great shot here, by the way. Oh, do we lose our slideshow?
Go?
Oh,
Yep,
here.
there we go.
Okay,
Yep,
here
yep,
it is.
Yep, I clicked on it the wrong way. Yep. Huey, Louie, and Dewey there. Yep.
I like a lot of these.
Oh, there's a tab sign.
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a classic logo too.
Yeah,
Yep.
the tab. Yep. And she's a good-looking lady.
And her name is Lou. No, that's supposed to be for like Luis
or Lula.
or Lula. Okay, because
Yeah,
I
it
was
could
like,
be-
I was
Could
wondering
be
about
any
that. They never
number.
like if you look at all the credits, because I looked into all the credits. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Doesn't
it has
say,
to be
right?
a nickname or something. I can't imagine that. This is where our boy Roy here. He's starting to notice with Gator. He's just like, "What's your deal?" Basically, and
Stay away from Lou.
yeah.
Right.
He's not happy with where the direction of this is going. He's clearly he's got some spite going. He's got
And then
some
the woman
spite.
in the store is like, "Why are these guys arguing about another guy called Lou? Are you going to marry Lou or what? What are your intentions with Lou?"
Oh man. little yeah, he was probably thinking, oh, now see if now today if it came out, Lou would be a man.
Yes,
He
it
would
would.
be a
Yes,
man, and
Yeah,
they would
that's
have
true.
to be. It'd have to be a three-way today. Today is like they would. This would be the Twitter ship. Roy, Lou, and Gator, and they would get gatored by the Gator. And probably ask some really like on the nose line about that. Give me the Gator.
Yeah.
It would definitely be
what-
one of those
what-
lines.
But I like his line. What the hell has that got to do with what we were just talking about?
So, is the sequel, without giving it away, is the sequel a similar but different movie, or is it a very different movie?
It's not as, I don't think it's as car focused as this, but it's the same character played the same way by Burt Reynolds, and he's stuck back into a similar situation. He has to find a different solution to it, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like I said, I think this is the better movie overall, better written. I think that was, let's grab, we had one movie that made some money, let's make a second one.
Okay.
But it's not a bad movie, and to have Gerry Reed to be playing the bad guy and a bad guy you love to hate, it's worth watching, if only to watch, Gerry Reed and just be like, I just want to know how he's going to get taken out.
Okay.
By the end of this movie, I just want to know what
happens.
happens to that asshole, which is why it's worth watching. Whereas this is a more carefully told story, I think.
Okay.
It certainly has higher ratings and it's gotten more critical acclaim. I would agree that's a better movie. But there's nothing wrong with Gator as a fun. Oh, I want to see that guy again. I want to see that character again. Look, show me Burt Reynolds playing Gator again. Gator McCluskey. That'd be fun, and it is. It's a good movie that way.
Okay.
Here,
Let's talk about this.
Attacking her like in a way that shouldn't be happening, or was he just? That's what my question was. They kind of hid it behind the tree there, but I guess that was the.
Well, it looked like it did. Looked like he was going to go
About
for
to.
it, and then he got stopped really quickly by one of his own corrupted officers. Like, hey, we gotta go. We don't got time for that type of stuff. Because it looked like he was about to start doing, and that's not the first
Something
scene
really
where you
bad,
think
yeah.
it's gonna happen. Where you think it's gonna happen? Because I actually had to rewind the scene the first time because I didn't realize like how quick the scene actually is.
It was fast.
When I first watched it, it didn't feel as fast because I was just like, oh crap. Because the way she like feels uneasy about the touching, I thought it happened, but then I realized I think it was more of it was about to happen, and he stopped it only because they had somewhere else they had to be, and she still felt uneasy about the fact that it almost happened, which I could see that. I could definitely see that.
He's be scared.
It's horrifying, especially when it's people from a position
And
of
it's cops.
authority. Yeah.
That's it. That's what I got is that they're in a powerful role. They can do whatever they want because the sheriff protects them and the sheriff has his connections. So they're basically untouchable. And the people, even the Moonshiners that we've seen are pretty badass characters who, they don't put up with shit from anybody, but they show up at the sheriff's office and drop off their money, their bag of cash, because they don't want to get on his bad side because they know he can ruin them. So yeah, I think everybody's terrified of the sheriff and his deputies, and they can do anything they want, legal or illegal.
Hot damn! And here he goes, making another move on a lady, and man, this guy here, oh boy, you could feel his tension rise. He's like, I was about to lose my lady to Burt Reynolds right then and there at this moment. That was like, dude, man, you want to talk about, the jealousy straight up was like fucking real. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I felt this guy's tension. I was like,
Well, this is what I was talking about. This is one of the Moonshiners, and you know, McCluskey's character is trying to be subtle about it, and he's trying not to let him know what he was doing. And he figures talking to the lady is the least offensive thing he could say he was doing. And the guy's like, get the hell out of here.
Yep.
And he does. So, you know these are not, these are people who would ruin your whole day. And they're all afraid of the sheriff and his deputies. So there's the power dynamic going on. If you have the power, if you have the money, you have some power. If you work for the sheriff, you have more. And you know, Gator is challenging the whole structure, and it knows that any one person in this town could be his downfall. He has to be perfect the whole time, or this won't work.
Yeah, he can't go to anyone for help. There's not even anyone else undercover there to help him, right? I mean, he's on his own. So, and you see in one of the later scenes that we'll get to, like when they see him later in the movie, and he's at the home for girls. The cops just start shooting right in the wide open. It's like they don't even wait for him to pull a gun; they're just shooting, and there's no body cameras there. There's no, no way anything's going to happen to these cops, so they can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were polite enough to say, "Stop or I'll shoot." Then they do. That's about the extent. That's about the extent of their concern for the law.
Yeah.
Another great line. And this one's from Big Bear. Is like, as much about making whiskey as a flop-eared mule. I was like, I like how they take body parts and attach an animal to these things, like the tits of the boar, flop-eared mule. That's just the combination of must be how they did insults in the 70s in the South. Take body part, add weird-looking animal to it, and voila, good old insult there. Oh, dude, this fight was so freaking good, but also funny because it's the takeaway of it all. The fact that they get caught fighting by the cop, and the cop just gives them a ticket for the parking and not for the fight. I thought that was hilarious.
I don't mind you funning around, but I can't allow you to block this alley with your vehicle, so I'm going to have to issue a citation.
He saw them dead to rights fall in front of him, like it was so obvious. So you can't make it any more like on the nose that these two are clearly fighting. And he didn't stop up. He didn't say, "Hey guys, break it up." He just said, hey, whatever, you guys are going to do that, but here's where the real problem is.
Right.
Nowadays, it would definitely be about the fight. It would absolutely be about the fight. They would not allow a fight, but, if it's okay if your car is blocking something. Nowadays, it sadly seems to be an expectation in some ways to a point, but, the fight with that. The fact, I felt these kids right here. I live vicariously like those kids because I remember when I would be in like middle school, I guess you could say, and I remember hearing older kids screaming at each other down the street and be like, "Guys, I think they're gonna fight." We'd all, we do what these kids do. We'd hide behind like a bush or something. Like, let's hope we get a fight out of this. That's us right there. All the people in the chat, we are those kids right there. We're just a fight.
Well, I'll tell you what, it beats the hell out of being one of these two guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather not be one of these two guys.
No.
Dude, I did feel that when he got clocked in the ear, I felt that. That was probably the worst hit. I actually felt the uneasiness, like I got a little bit of the shivers. I was just like, that doesn't feel good because it's kind of like when the dude gets hit in the nuts. I've said many times, we get hit in the nuts, you get that mental image in your head of how bad it feels. There's something about I don't know what about, but I can imagine the ear definitely doesn't feel good either. Granted, getting punched anywhere sucks, but something about the ear just sounds unpleasing. Sounds didn't
It
mean to make
messes you
fun
up
there.
big time too. Yeah.
It does. It does.
I wouldn't know. I luckily have never gotten hit hard in the ear to know, but I believe it.
Oh, trivia on that. That for those who are into pinball machines, the one he's
Yeah, which
playing on
one's
the
that? I
porch
love
is a
that. I love pinball.
1960. That's a 1962 Gottlieb Racquetball, and only 2,700 were made. So if you ever find one, buy it.
Oh,
It's
Nice,
worth some
yeah.
money. It's worth some money.
I love me some old pinball machines. Yep.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I like the design of that. Once again, I there's a really cool thrift store in my area, and they have so much old school vintage stuff, like whether it's a pinball machine, an old school arcade, the classic, Coca-Cola or Sprite signs. And I seen this stuff out home. It's like, wow, do I basically live by the movie White Lightning, but down the street? Oh, shite. Hey, Vulcan Liz, man. Have a great night, dude. Thanks for being here, sir. Cheers.
Later.
And
There, yep.
I hope to see you Friday when we have Russ Leach on to promote Cole. Juggalo. I think I remember that. I was hitting the air during Kill the Client set. Dude, I think I remember. I was not there during that moment, but I think I remember hearing about it. Was that when I was drunk, passed out at the hotel? Tell me. I can't remember. Yeah, I was very drunk. That's a drunk story for another day. Oh boy, maybe I'll tell that story in the member stream about the time I got drunk at a festival. I missed almost a day's worth of music. Woo! That was
He slept through the whole day.
not almost. There's more
Almost,
to it.
yeah.
There's more to it. Not to get all Transformers punny, but there was more to it than meets the eye. There really was. Oh, day before. Okay. Then I guess I was just too drunk to remember that. But oh boy,
Does anyone think that this guy looks like the McGee from the Incredible Hulk? I looked it up, but it's not. But he reminded me of Jack McCulver from the Incredible Hulk TV show.
I could see why
Am
you
I just
got
nuts?
that vibe. I could see why you got that.
I'm like,
I
is that the
still
guy from
think
the
of-
Hulk?
I can't help but think of the Weasel from True Lies, the guy with the mustache who was trying to get with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got that vibe. Even though I know it came much earlier, but he had that similar role of that sleazy scumbag weasel guy. That's what I got of this dude.
Yeah.
This dude. So I could see where you connected your dots. So it makes sense.
Yeah, just sometimes you think, oh, is that someone? Yeah. And this is where the things really go south.
Serious. Yeah.
It's the
Shit
the
got
character.
serious fast.
It's the characters that's about as reliable as a macrame condom.
Oh, hot dog. Yeah, this is the second part where I thought, oh, okay, this is where we're gonna get Death Wishy here, and there was one scene I'm like, okay, if freaking Gator is trying to get them to pay attention to her, he's clearly up to some, but because guys are guys, it's one of the rare instances where you can get another guy off his guard, if you will, because he knew he had to be creative to get them to lose attention of him. And obviously that's a big risk too, because you're kind of putting her life on the line with that risk. But lucky he was able to be urgent and resilient and respond very quickly so she could still be safe, because that's a risky move. I'll say that. Like,
Well,
it's just
yeah, he knows he's got there's 2 shells in that shotgun, and there's 5 guys in that room.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's gotta spread them out to where he can get it the right number of them and get away from the other two, because at most he's going to get 3 guys, which he does.
And the other guys have guns too. I'm assuming.
Yeah, they
right?
do.
Or pistols.
Yes, they do. So this is a very, very low odds bet, but he doesn't really have any choice, because the alternative is he's done. He's going to be going out onto the same lake his son drowned in.
And she can have an even worse night if he sits there, does nothing. He sits there, he does nothing, and she has it even worse than what he's about to risk. So
Right.
at least he goes down trying. So
Right.
I get why he did, but oh boy, like that's still it's one of those things. Like it helps that these guys are the types of guys who are very all about themselves. Because if it was more of like a cold-blooded, super cold-blooded type of villain, he probably would not honestly fall for a trap. But these are guys who are really all up on themselves. They bought it, they fell for it, and it worked. And it shows you have to write a very specific type of bad guys to make the scene work, and it worked.
Yeah, they're
Oh, yeah, yeah.
overconfident. They were overconfident because nobody's ever challenged them, really.
Mm-hmm.
They know that nobody messes with them because
it's
the
a-
sheriff won't let them.
Mm-hmm. It's a creative way of challenging them too. It was a creative way of challenging them. Once again, it shows you way back when writers really made sure they thought about how do you make this situation work. Okay, if you're gonna put these type of villains, you gotta put these type of villains and make this work to make this sell me on this working. Because yeah, there are villains you could not make the scene work. There are definitely not. So
Right.
once again, once upon a time, thought was thought about in even the smallest of things. And if it wasn't, well, then it just goes to show you how gifted of a writer that was the default. So either way, however you spin it, creativity 101, folks. Man, it took for Gator to finally start getting to that sweat now. But man, it's great because once it hits, the fight starts picking up here, it's pretty much here goes the rest of the movie. Basically, you get like a 2-3 minute intermission, but it's basically the rest of the movie because it's
Action.
all action
All
and
action. Yeah.
yeah, it's action and a whole lot of speeding, I had
Good car
heard
chases. Yep.
I had heard from some older guys who were fans of the movie that they said that basically this movie is a bad influence on their driving. And I thought, oh, that's funny. Oh, like wow. So back then, a lot of guys thought they were the Gator basically, and said,
Yep.
I gotta do that. What? What's up, Joe Dog? How you doing, buddy? Great Avatar,
Joe
by
Dog.
the way. Classic Teen Titans comic. Good old George Perez, Marv Wolfman era. Love those comics. Hell yeah, man. Ooh, got the shooting the gun. Is that okay? Cool. Was that a sprinkler going? I did not notice that in the movie. I guess I missed that part. I did not notice the sprinkler.
Let's say we're. Oh yeah. That goes.
The water pipe burst.
Unless there was a
It
different
was a
cut.
pipe. Yeah, they wouldn't have
I think it was a
sprinklers.
pipe.
Oh,
I think it was a pipe that burst.
Yeah, there's
okay.
no safety features there. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
I did not notice that when I was watching this theatrical cut. Mark, you said earlier you think you have seen this.
I think I've, because just being of a certain age and just watching TV all the time, I had to probably seen this at some point. But or I'm mixing it up with like similar type action Moonshine Southern movies. But yeah, I could see where this is a precursor for Smokey and the Bandit in some ways, and just that type of movie, Cannonball Run, not just in terms of the cars and the chases and that was big. That was big back then. So you don't see that as, I mean, of course, when we do have the Fast and Furious movies are so popular, but those are, ridiculous, CGI car chases. But back then, you had to, maybe they weren't realistic, but you didn't have, you know, the out of like CGIs, and you couldn't drop cars from a tanker plane or things like
well, back
that.
then they actually destroyed dozens of cars to make movies like this.
Yep.
Like the Smokey and the Bandit and the Blues Brothers,
Blues
two
Brothers,
that
yep.
come to mind as two of the most destructive movies for their stunt cars. Yeah, they went through a lot of cars in some of these movies.
I think the Blues Brothers at the time set a record.
It broke the record held by Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay, yep.
So here's another one of posters. I've been holding off on this one. This is my favorite poster of the movie. I like how the yellow encompasses basically the scenery of the movie, and you get two shots of the gator. You get a regular badass shot of him basically looking once again like Charles Bronson, Paul Kersey, and then you have a Mad Mardigan improved shot on the left. I was like, oh, that's Mad Shot. And then you got Ned Beatty right up there, too. And he kind of actually is probably the most awesome he looks, actually, right here, where his aviators are white. And, of course, there's one of the taglines, as I mentioned earlier. And then there's another one here that I actually missed. And it says, take a bite and feel all right. I like that. That's got a good ring to it. I like that. That's a really good ring.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, we got to a good spot here with
the motherly
this
house.
spot when he wakes up.
All the
So I
pregnant
do have a clip for this one. So
okay.
Shoot
it off.
Yeah, let's shoot it up. Yep. Oh, where'd it go? Yep.
Come on, Mike.
What happened to you?
I was trying to save these two buddies of mine from getting knocked up by a homosexual.
Oh, praise God.
Toxic. Yep. Very toxic. Yeah.
When I heard that line, I was just like, I gotta rewind that. Damn.
Gerry wouldn't like that line, but yeah, and look at the TV. You got the preacher on the TV, right?
That line.
Oh yeah.
Is, bar none, one of the most toxic lines I think I've ever heard in a movie ever. And easily the runaway line of the movie, which just say a lot because there were some good ones in this movie, but holy crap, that line.
Yeah, those girls are in love with Bert there too. Yeah.
Oh, dude, they are.
Where the hell am I? You're a little
almost like
Sister Linda's face, home for unwed mothers.
It was the reverse jail, whereas he was excited to see Lay for the first time. They were excited to see a man this time. They were over the moon, man. The fact that it wasn't just any man, too, it was freaking Gator McCluskey, Burt Reynolds. Oh yeah, they were, and also this is at a time too where a lot of these girls, I guess you could say, were geekier, and they're definitely probably not as accepted among the world. So for them to have this type of guy in their presence was probably more enlightening for them. We'll say that for a more G-rated word. And yes, great shot of Mr. Reynolds here with Mad Martin covering. I haven't seen this photo in a long time. Yeah, thank you, Lord. My time is I'm sure a few thought that. I'm sure for getting knocked up.
Then she says, "Oh, praise God" at the end too.
Oh yeah. Oh, best response to that line ever. I mean, I don't know how you top that. But that's seriously. Oh, dude, this chase right here, where he realizes, oh crap, they're finding me, and he hops right back in that car one last time for the big final chase, and it's basically it's like a whole I think nearly 8-9 minutes, something like that. I never timed out perfectly, so I'm estimating in my head. But dude, it's a It's a lengthy one, and it has a, no pun intended, but it has a literally a great crash landing to top it off.
Oh god, I got that clip ready to go.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
yeah.
'Cause, man,
And I love this line here. That wife of his in Memphis, she's gonna get every cent of that insurance money. Like, oh, so you weren't married? It's like, oh crap.
Exactly.
Oops.
guys,
Uh,
I got to check something really quick.
Sure. We'll hold the fort. Yep. Oh, now we're gonna get Nick in real big trouble. Yep. He left us in charge. Yep.
Oh, that was a bad decision.
Yeah. What
But
else?
you know, the thing I like about the thing that was interesting to me was when I was watching this, I was like, whose funeral is this? And then, you know, yeah, I know, dudes. And when you go, oh, okay, it's dude's funeral.
Yeah.
And then when the sheriff, you know, gives his condolences to dude's girlfriend, she's like
Ms. Dude,
yeah, Mrs.
or, well, the
Ms.
girlfriend,
Dude,
the girlfriend dude.
yeah, she's like, up yours. She's not having any of it. So you know the sheriff may be feared, but he's not liked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And here's
he's
another
not-
dig at the North here.
Yeah.
What's his
Oh,
name? Lee. Well, Lee's a lot better than Grant. Yeah, General Lee.
Oh yeah.
Grant,
Well, I mean, I got Southern relatives who didn't know that damn Yankee was 2 words until they were 11 years old.
yeah, right. Yeah. And did you have a brother named Donnie? Yeah, yeah.
No.
So this is where he figures out what really happened to his brother and why he got killed, because he can't understand it, right? Because he's the one that's always in trouble.
Exactly.
And she knows all the details. She didn't see him get killed, but she was right with him before it happened.
But she knows what led up to it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's one quote I'll read from the movie. Yeah. So Gator says that's more in the beginning when he's in the movie, but he's saying Donnie had been arrested by the sheriff. You know something? I got out of prison, running cars, stealing cars, running moonshine. I ain't never done nothing good in my whole life. And then along come Donnie, and he's the only one that ever went to school, the only one that ever accomplished anything, the only one who ever did anything in the whole family. What the hell does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's more to his character than just a moonshiner, jumping cars, and he's got some good acting depth in this movie, and he's a multi-dimensional character. It's not, there's some fights and some brawls and throwaway one-liners, but you kind of the setup is really good. The revenge setup here, because you got the brother who's it's all the revenge angle, and he's the bad guy really. This Gator is not he's not that he's a bad guy, but he's he's
not a role model.
Yeah,
he's not a role model. He's an anti-hero in a revenge story.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's a reason I compared this to Deliverance, because in my opinion, these are 2 of Burt Reynolds' best roles for him playing a character that's not superficial. He did a lot of those, and a lot of them were in comedies, and they're fun to watch. They're entertaining as hell. But this movie and Deliverance are Burt Reynolds trying and succeeding, in my opinion, to play a character, as you said, Mark, with multiple layers. He understands he's not a good person. His brother was. He thought his brother was. So why is it that the sheriff went after his brother and not him, or somebody else went after him? That's what he's trying to figure out. And when he finds out
you're right. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. No, I was just going to say this line here. Then the sheriff, he was nothing but a fascist pig mother, stealing the country blind. Like, the quote unquote hippies and liberals, protesters, stirring everything up. Changing the status quo. And then, sorry to interrupt you. You're going to say,
no, it's all right. It's fine, because that extends the point. The point is that Reynolds is you can see him as a simple country bumpkin moonshiner. He drives cars. He's good at it. Okay, that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
Except here, he's actually trying to figure out what the hell is it that got his brother in so much trouble that it got him killed. And when he finds out, he's like, "That's it? You kidding me?" This is the impression I got.
Yeah, and there's the line I just read.
Yeah. And so he admired his younger brother. He definitely loved him, admired him. He's here because he needs to find out what the hell happened to him. And now that he's found out, the sheriff is his. It's going to be one of them or the other from this moment in the movie, because he's never going to forgive the sheriff for what he did to his brother as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's up, Danny? How you seeing, buddy? He says, I ain't ever seen this one. Y'all went deep in the vault. Dude, that was the point, man. You gotta take chances on shows like this. You gotta provide those risks. And luckily we're still able to pull a crowd to talk about it. Shows
we went deep into the toxic vault.
The toxic vault, there's some real investment.
Mark had to blow the dust off of this one.
Yeah, look at and here this was the what I was mentioning before was thank you for being here, Danny. Yeah, where they show up at the picnic or whatever, and they just start shooting. They don't even wait, there's a crowd here. Oh, it's all pregnant women. They know it's a home for pregnant mothers, right? They just start shooting. I mean, they don't care, right? It's like, and
it shows you once again how corrupt they were. That they had no limits, and it's not like they're stupid. It's not like they're incompetent. They're not ignorant.
Yeah,
they knew what they're pulling up to. They knew, like, these types of guys, whether you're a good cop or a bad cop, most of them are smart. Most of them know what they're doing. They're getting into situations like these. They knew what they were going for. They cared more about getting rid of Gator, and they were willing to do it at all costs.
And they didn't care who saw it, right?
Yeah, and they didn't care who saw it because they were in a position where they can do that.
Yep.
And what did Gator do before, right? I mean, when they got roughed up or chained up, I mean, they never even bothered to put him under arrest or lock him up or railroad him. It's like, we're just going to kill you now. And it's just because he got away there that they didn't kill him. But yeah, so they're all powerful, right? Yeah, and
exactly.
Then we get like 10 minutes of a great car chase, and the stuntmen are really great. Yeah, like you said, in the driving, especially when they're driving through town too, you can see, how good these drivers are to keep these old buckets on the road there with big heavy engines and not great suspension, and it's a fun scene. But you also got the Princess Bride, obviously, right? You killed my father, prepare to die. It's that great, it's a timeless classic, the revenge, but when it's done well, like the Princess Bride of this movie, it really really hits home. Or Charles Bronson and Death Wish, you just love it when the bad guys finally get theirs, right? You're all cheering. Like I was watching on I go on Twitter too much, woman in New York City or the Bronx is walking up, or Queens, doesn't matter where, was walking up to church, and a guy just came up on the steps and whacked her in the face, and then she goes back and she falls like back, her head smashes the back. She's in critical condition, and the bastard, now of course we have security cameras, we see all this, and he just goes through her pockets, takes her purse and pocketbook, and runs off, and she's in critical condition. It's like a 70-year-old woman going to church. It's like, that's where you wish you had like a Charles Bronson on the street corner, or Punisher, or that kind of thing, because you just get so mad seeing that stuff. So you can imagine Charles Bronson here is like, he knows this guy killed his brother who didn't do anything wrong, so it's a great motivation for the character. Just love watching this stuff. When the spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, right. But go watch this movie. But yeah,
Danny,
this is a movie to look up. You can see this for free on Tubi and a couple of at least two of the.
This
free
is on
streaming
YouTube
services
right now, actually for free on YouTube, right here on YouTube for free right now. White Lightning is available for free. So there you go. Full free, no
by
strings
YouTube,
attached.
or it's by YouTube, or is it just someone?
I looked up YouTube right now. No, it looks like it's by YouTube. I looked up on YouTube earlier. It said free with ads. Yes, we will dig for that for you. But yeah, Danny, if you ever want to come on, just let me know, man. Don't hesitate to ever ask. I mean, we definitely have our traditions. We'll have like November. We have our Bond month. Obviously, we'll have the Christmassy type of stuff. We'll have obviously we've got Burt Reynolds month for this type of round. So we do themes. If you pay attention to my feed, you'll see I do post. And yeah, if you're going to come on, man, I would not hesitate one bit to letting you come on. I know you can hold a good conversation on a classic movie. So don't be shy. All right, don't be shy.
Yep,
I love this shit because not only does he freaking have to outrun them, but he has to literally hit them with his own car too. So
yes. But what I love is what he's doing is he's basically reducing the pursuit force to the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't hit him right in the door. He doesn't knock him across the car. But what he basically does is reduce the pursuit force down to the sheriff chasing him. Now, it's a bit contrived, and it could have gone another way. But once he knows he has the sheriff personally behind him, that's when it's like, okay, now it's you and me. And that's this long chase is more about getting rid of the other cops. The first part of it is about getting rid of these other drivers. So here one guy goes off the road. So the cop is driving, the sheriff's in the passenger seat. The sheriff runs up and jumps into another cruiser there. And this is where basically the sheriff gets suckered into chasing Gator by himself. And this is the end game of the duel, if you will.
This is a well-laid plan. No, I get what
Yes.
you're getting at, Richard. This is a really well-laid plan. He knew like he had to strategize because once again, cops are they know how to drive, they know how to adjust to a driver. Because usually, when the good cops had to deal with, most criminals are unreasonable. They had to know how to deal with unreasonable personalities. And he realized that, okay, I have to think above and beyond that. If I'm going to try to have an edge on these guys, because they are trained to handle guys who are going to literally go, no pun intended, but the extra mile to try to get out of the situation. So he had to really go outside the box for this one.
Yes, and keep in mind, these deputies are not unfamiliar with chasing revenuers, with chasing bootleggers.
Nope.
So, he knows these guys can drive.
Yeah, it's a sport for them, basically, in a way.
Yeah, they want to catch the guy, and the guy wants to get away, and that's, like I said, that's where NASCAR came from. So, he knows he's got to get this down to him versus the sheriff, and that's when it gets personal.
Yeah, because if you remember the cops in the beginning of the movie when they when he's running as a blocker and he impresses everyone as what a good driver is, they've got a video camera there and they're like, "Oh, look at the springs are all loaded up. That's definitely a moonshiner," because they can tell the car's loaded up with stuff. So and they're out there, they're out there waiting for him. Cat and mouse game. Yeah,
exactly.
And that was out of the county where, they didn't have the protection, I guess, or this, that sheriff, the sheriff is running. He's obviously getting a kickback for the moonshine, so his guys aren't going to arrest anyone in the county for running. But it's when they go to other counties, they gotta watch out. So
right, yeah. As long as they pay the man, they're fine. But they go to another county, they get chased, and he knew he had to go to another county, so he's like, "Yeah, I can use a blocker." But yeah, this is down to mano a mano now. Between
I love it.
Yeah, Gator and look at that.
Oh,
there we go. Little boys,
Yep, you missed the point that the road came to an end, Sheriff. That sucks.
It almost feels like the ending of almost like a Bond type of car chase.
Yes.
It feels like the ending of a Bond chase, because that's usually how Bond chases ended. It's kind of like the bad guy thinking, "Oh, I got him now," and then they realize, "Oh, shit, I don't got him now. I'm the one he's got me," type of situation.
Yep.
It is very Bond-like in that regard. Yeah.
It looks like there's a guy in the car too.
Yeah.
Unless it's a dummy in the car. I don't know if it's a dummy.
Probably a dummy.
Windows were open. Stuntman came out of the car.
Because that's some stunt. I mean, you're still landing in the water.
Oh, I know.
You're high up there, and that's pretty high.
Oh yeah. No, that I hope the stuntman got paid a fair amount of money for jumping that car into that lake.
or if it was a dummy. Yeah. Well, we got the clips for this one, so let me play those. Yep. But that was a great ending for the movie. Like, that's some shot there. And Bruce I keep saying Bruce. He's yeah. And the sound effect is great there. And then,
Yep.
yeah, you think, and then I thought he's gonna get out. You're like, oh shit, he's gonna, come out shooting. There's gonna be more,
I
yeah,
thought what was going to happen was I thought he was going to barely just get out of the vehicle. And then as he got out of the vehicle, he was going to swim his way back to have one last shootout. And that was going to be it. But this does make sense as an ending too. This does. I have no
yeah,
problem
yeah.
with this part. This makes a lot of sense.
This goes all the way back to all what we were talking about earlier about early seat belts. When a car hits the water, it comes to a sudden stop.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing a lap belt, your face hits the steering wheel. So probably the only thing he was capable of after that impact was to yell, "Help!" And that was it.
Yes,
And
no
was-
airbags there.
No airbags, no shoulder belts. Now that was period correct for. And now once again we have a funeral. We wonder who it is.
Yeah, well, I do have.
Now
this
we
part of
know.
it. I broke it up so we don't get in trouble. But yep, you hear him yelling there.
Yeah, but now we're replaying the funeral, except this time it's the sheriff.
Yeah.
I shot the sheriff.
Little does the town know.
Right.
And normally you feel bad, God forbid.
Oh, yeah,
and then but
absolutely.
you're like screw that SOB. He was having everyone killed, running moonshine, doing whatever the hell he wanted. He was, a little mini. He was a fascist in his own town. That's what he was complaining about, fascists and communists. That line, and that's what he was, right? So he was controlling everything, and he got his just desserts. He got his revenge. The Gator got his revenge. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting scene to see play out as it wraps. So it's like, wow. But at the end of the day, our boy Gator, he got out and he won. Ultimately, he won. That was not easy. That is not an easy confrontation. And yeah, got 1 minute of credits and chat. Go ahead.
Did they take him? They don't rearrest him or anything, right? I mean, because he didn't get
there's nothing here. I haven't seen the sequel, so I don't know what they do with Gator after, but
right, because he's just they didn't get him, But Diane, that's Diane Ladd as Maggie, of course. Yes, gorgeous. Yeah.
So, Chet, go ahead and give off your toxicity scores. We'll read them off, and as that happens, we'll sign off on our thoughts of the toxicity of this movie. I guess I'll just leave it off. I'm going to go with probably around an 8 for the toxicity in this movie. And I'm going to say that really comes down to a lot of it, mostly on the dialogue. Because it's not like it's a million lines of it a minute, but there's a good chunk of it. And each line is absolutely wild. Like the boar hog line. Then there's, of course, then you got the tagline, it's my kind of feeling, booze, broads, car chases, crushing revenge, all the things that make life worthwhile. That's a man's movie type of line. Absolutely freaking awesome. And of course, the homosexual line, the making whiskey flop-eared mule line. There was some delivery here that was absolutely awesome. Now, of course, there's a lot of the cultural stuff that we all know would fly by first day. But that's a small part of toxicity. For me, is really big on the dog. And I really definitely enjoyed watching White Lightning. It'll definitely be something I do return to somewhere in my life. I definitely had fun watching this one. And I will now pass it off to, we got a super chat from Rob Altus for $10. Woo! Thank you, Rob. Says, by the way, Hal Needham, the stunt coordinator here, is the director of Smokey and the Bandit and was a good friend of Reynolds. Love this show. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. I did know about him directing Smokey, but I did not know him about being a stunt coordinator. So thank you for that, sir.
Yeah, he started out as a stunt man, and he made movies that made heavy use of stunts. And besides being a good friend of Burt Reynolds, he showed up at Burt Reynolds' house when he broke up with his wife, and he lived there for 2 years.
Oh, he did.
That's how good a friend. That's how good a friend he was.
So they're actual friend.
He crashed at Burt Reynolds' place for like 2 years. And then he got the money to direct a movie. He's going, I'm going to direct a movie. And Bert's like, really? It's like, yeah, I want you to star in it.
Move out of the damn house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if I star in it, will you move out of my house? Which is pretty much, I think it's pretty much what it was. If this movie works, will you move? And he did.
We got to play a clip for Rob there. What should we play? Oh, here, this is good for Rob.
Back in the old days, there were Johnsons as far as the eye could see.
And what a lovely sight it was.
Sorry, Rob. Just kidding.
Thank you, Rob, once again for 10. Thanks, B. Marte, earlier for the 20, and to Vulcan Lives and Osmora 199 for the two $5 each huge memberships. Guys, you've been very, very insanely generous tonight. Thank you very much. I'll read out some of these scores. I'm going to pass on to Red Shirt. Matthew Marzil says 100 out of 100 for toxic male, vehicular moonshine, car chasing, knuckle crunching, thirsty women, home down, splashing police. Holy shit. And then TZ says toxic 9, a house full of pregnant women, 10, someone's dicks works. Guys, go ahead, sound off on more of the scores if you'd like, and I'm gonna pass off to Red Shirt.
Oh, well, the opening scene, holy cow. Let's talk about setting mood and the stakes in this movie with two young guys just totally incapacitated, drowning in a right here in the lake. You're never in doubt in this movie as to whether bad things can happen, because the very first thing that happens is one of the worst things you could see. So there's the first bit of toxicity. Sheriff Connors, oh my God, played by Ned Beatty, as you first look at him like, yeah, he's silly when you see him in the John boat, because he can't paddle any better than he did in Deliverance. He sucks with a canoe paddle. And then he just turns around with a shotgun and kills two young people by sinking the boat. And you're like, oh shit, he may be an incompetent paddler, but he's a murderous bastard. So all of a sudden the stakes change. And it's in the first 2-3 minutes of the movie. The Southern vernacular Mark has mentioned, useless as tits on a boar hog, and some of the other lines. I mean, yes, I've heard a lot of these lines before. They're just common down south, but they certainly aren't politically correct these days. So that definitely adds to the toxicity. Lou, the blonde, playing both ends against the middle with sitting in the middle of the front seat with Gator and the guy he's working with to distribute. She's just trying to cause trouble. She wants Gator.
Yeah.
She's just trying to cause trouble, and so she is just the biggest problem that both of those men have. And then the conversation. Well, what are your intentions toward her? You're going to marry her? What does that have to do with what we were just talking about? I mean, come on. They're two completely different attitudes towards women there. Obviously, one of those is going to wind up being toxic. I'm not going to claim which one. And of course, the ending of the movie, where the poetic justice of the sheriff drowning when he drowned the two, protesters at the beginning, which we find out later from the young college student. The drowning of the college students is toxic, but maybe getting back at the man would be a rah-rah moment today for the woke. But in terms of what kind of a character, what kind of a character Gator is, he's no holds barred. He'll do anything. And the deputies will do anything. We saw that in the backyard against the tree. We were talking about that and what was really going on the other side of that tree before the sheriff came out of the back door. You have a whole bunch of people here who will just flat out do anything to protect their prerogatives, and it's well written, better than a lot of Burt Reynolds movies were, aside from the comedies, which they're just made to be funny. I really like this movie, but this movie today, I think there's a reason that somebody in the chat, and I apologize for not remembering who said it, called this buried deep in the vault. This doesn't get shown on television. And I think the reason is that it really is considered to be, an unacceptably toxic movie these days. So I'm going to give this an 8.5. This is pretty toxic. And I will confess, I've not seen it before. I've seen Gator, but I don't think I've ever seen this on television, even if I decided, I'm not going to watch it.
No, it was a worthwhile watch. It really was.
Yep.
I had fun with this one. I really had some fun with this one. Between the badass car chases, the cool manliness of the movie, the toxic personalities, it really was a worthwhile movie. It shows you how many lesser known good movies are out there that probably have been memory hole, went into the void. Luckily, we were able to dig this one out from the rough.
Yep.
I'm going to read off some more. Rob Altus said Car Stunts Toxicity. Car Stunts 8 Toxicity 9. And then Juggalo Deathcock says, never saw this one, but I know it's on YouTube. It's on. Definitely toxic dialogue that would get anybody canceled these days. Can't provide an educated rating at this time. Hey, don't worry, man. Next week's flick is going to be a very equally toxic version, but one that definitely has a little bit more eyes on it. We'll just say that. But we're going to give that away when Mark sounds off and the last of the scores pop up. So, Mark, sound off.
Yeah.
And then we're going to call it the night.
We'll call it a night. Yeah, I'm going with an 8 on this one, too. And, part of it, I guess some of this movie would be toxic. I always say, like, toxicity versus today versus, when this came out in 73. So, these characters are, badasses in this movie. You got a sheriff who's, should be locked up forever, and is running the town. The classic bad guy. But now you've got movies where, early Hollywood, you'd never show a sheriff like this. You could, but of course you'd have to get his just desserts. But it's now in the 70s, you got more freedom to make the kind of movies you want. So. Yeah, I mean, you start off with Burt Reynolds. There's no altar boy here. He's a great anti-hero, like you guys said. And go watch this movie because it's a simple movie, straightforward in terms of the plot, but there's a lot of depth to this character. And Reynolds is really good and believable in this role. And you got some cute leading ladies, ladies in here too. So hopefully, Handy Randy wasn't too upset. I wonder if Handy Randy could run Moonshine. Might be tough, but if he could carry the jugs. But this is a really underlooked, underappreciated movie with some really good acting by Burt Reynolds here. He's he's not just the the quote unquote hunk or good looking guy. So yeah, we put the link in the chat for YouTube. Just Google this on YouTube. Yeah, you can watch it for free. So. I can see why they're not going to show it because of lines like these.
Last time I saw you, you were flat-chested.
Could you imagine that in a show or a movie?
Well, dude, today, Lou's line in the car about the playing at 12. I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't clip that for obvious reasons.
No,
right.
I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it.
I'm like, oh, should I clip that? I'm like, no, maybe not. Yeah. I mean, so, so there's some, it was the 70s too, right? So in a lot of ways, you're more free in the 70s. And it probably rolled by. We didn't talk about, but the marijuana. I think I mentioned before too. The marijuana truck.
The truck, I wanted to, and I'd forgotten to.
I forgot to too. But when that was rolling by, I was laughing, of course, because now pot is pretty much legal everywhere, and moonshine's still illegal, right? But But well, I guess it's illegal. Federal government still hasn't legalized it, but
Right.
that day it'll probably won't be too far off. Yeah, where you'll be able to buy pot at the ball game, I guess, right, instead of a hot dog. But but yeah, go watch this. And yeah, we had a fun time tonight talking this movie. And thanks to everyone who was here. Yeah, with a good crowd, even though it's not this ain't a real massive hit that a lot of people know about. So appreciate everyone hanging with us and having a good time.
Agreed.
If you haven't seen this movie, go look it up on one of the free streaming services or YouTube, because it is definitely worth watching.
And drink some moonshine while you watch it. Or no,
hey, if you got some moonshine, I'm not going to make a value judgment on that. But hey, it is an early Burt Reynolds. And I agree with you, Mark. He's actually acting. He's not phoning it in or just playing.
It's not a caricature. Yeah.
It's not a caricature, exactly. No, he's playing a character, and he's doing it well. I think he does very well in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that has been White Lightning. And once again, always good to cover lesser known stuff, especially from a legendary actor. Yeah, take chances. Yeah, dig things out from the rubble. That's what it's all about here. It was amazing how many people it's just like, oh, hey, I didn't know about this, or I had never heard of this, or people are, oh, I forgot about it. It's cool when you see a reaction. It shows you, once again, all the diamonds that are out there that are hidden. You just got to dig, man. It's not going to be put in front of you. You got to go out there, dig for that treasure yourself. Once again, guys, we got a few new subs today. Thank you. Thanks, Tom, for bringing in some of the mead people, as always. Thanks for the super chats, gifted memberships, to new subs. I hope you liked what you saw. And you know what? I know you did. And you'll be back for more. And for our regulars, I thank you as well. Thank you guys for being here. Next week, we're going to be talking Deliverance for part 3 of Burt Reynolds month. So we're going all in with Deliverance. So part 4 is going to be even more all in, how we follow that up before we wrap up the Burt Reynolds month. But Deliverance.
Does anyone on the panel play banjo? Does Tom play banjo?
He probably does, knowing Tom.
We could get Tom to play banjo on that show for us.
If anyone can, it's Tom. Yeah. If anyone can.
Can I clip that scene, or we're gonna get?
We'll have to talk on that one. Yeah, we'll have to talk on that one.
Yeah,
we'll have to be careful with that one. Yeah.
That's probably got at least 2 different copyrights on it.
Yeah. My mother-in-law kept saying that was her favorite movie. I'm like, have you only seen the TV version?
I can't wait till we do Black Dynamite. We'll do that down the line. That's still a ways to go, but we're gonna get to Black Dynamite. That's a fantastic movie. It will probably be this year, though. Yeah. Anyways, on my channel, I'll have another video out this week. I will have Comic Shop Talk right now. I'll be having Russ Leach on. He is working on a story for Cole, who is a Robert E. Howard creation. We'll be having him on as a guest to talk about his comic, The Shadow Kingdom. So that's available on Fund My Comics. So come check that out. Obviously, next week here for Deliverance. And I'm going to let these gentlemen plug their plugs on the way out. We'll start off with Red Shirt.
I don't have anything planned for the rest of this week. My usual wrenching and saying hello in chats to everybody is my norm. I might be on a show later, but I don't know whether I'm going to or not. But I will definitely, because I am a big fan of Burt Reynolds, I will be here next Tuesday for Deliverance, because that is probably my favorite movie of his that isn't a comedy. That is a fantastic movie. So I'm looking forward to talking about it. You should all be here, and you should all have watched it by then.
That's your homework.
That's your homework. That's your homework from Professor Red Shirt. You better listen. Now, Red Shirt, it's been good to hang out with you, and it was nice. I know, even with the 3 of us, we were still able to hold it down like nobody's business with a conversation.
Yep.
So, see, look at that. Sometimes you can still make it happen.
So was this a menage a trois?
Stop it, Mark.
Gerry's not here, so someone's got to say some bad things.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
I don't want, for the record, I don't want that in my butt.
Thanks for being here, Red Shirt. As always, we'll talk soon. And last but not least, Mark, who's absolutely killing it with more and more at the geekery lately.
Yeah,
dude.
we've had some good shows. Yeah. So let me put my link in that
Plug it in.
Chat there. Let me plug that in. And I'm going to be on Thursday night with Raquel and Clobberin Times talking. What are we doing? Oh, we're doing Blake 7 this week. I'm forgetting the episode, but we're doing Blake 7. We started watching Kolchak the Night Stalker. So usually do watch parties for the show on Thursday night. So look out for that. And then, of course, my big show for the week is usually the Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. We were talking a lot of certain character of the Spaceways that was right here, but except I got to get a new statue, I guess, because this statue is missing certain physical characteristics. It seems like I have the wrong Bowen Surfer there, and those are two 3D printed Blues Brothers I just finished finally. But I love that Randy Bowen statue. So a lot of toys and comic book chat and 3D printing and things like that. But that we had a lot of talk with Clobberin Times on the Silver Surfer this past week, and that the casting that has left a lot of fans not too happy. As you can see from all the items back there, I'm a slight Fantastic Four fan, if you can.
Dude, I mean, us three, like, dude, I mean, we obviously within our little corner of YouTube, got us three guys are big Fantastic Four fans. I mean, the Lee Kirby run is basically like one of my comic book Bibles. Like,
yeah,
that run is absolutely sacred for me. It's something I go back to every year type of story. And it's just it's BS, but we're not gonna dwell on that.
Yeah, we're not dwelling on it now, but I figured
that is a
I gotta do it.
Surfer, and I'm glad you showed up because it looks amazing. It makes me want one. And guys, go sub to Mark's channel if you somehow have not. Seriously, like, do it today. Thank you, Mark, for being here, for your amazing services. As always, you killed as per usual. Good night, Juggalo Deathcock. Guys, we'll see y'all next week for Deliverance, and we will head on out.
I'd like to show you something.
The pace when I'm running, I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Hey guys, just so you know, before we get out, this is going to take you right over to Price of Reason's live channel. So as I end the stream, it's going to redirect you over there. Once again, thank you for supporting Toxic Tuesday. Have a great night.
You're still here? It's over.